Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to night 2 of the 2026 NFL Draft. The rumor is the Buffalo Bills might be making a selection tonight. And if so, Dave, I think you might have your volume on. Rumor is the Buffalo Bills might be making a pick tonight. All that and more. But first, a little technical difficulty to start the show. No big deal.
Welcome to the Air Raid Hour, a Cover One Network podcast. Here are your hosts, Judge Mathis and Tilt Money.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Air Raid Hour and our special draft coverage provided by the Cover One Sports Network. And Dave, the Bills pick soon, so we got to get these pleasantries out of the way real quick. There might not be too much time as the 49ers are now officially on the clock for us to have a lot of small talk and some banter to start the show this evening. But last night was a little anticlimactic, and then or maybe for some people that was pretty exciting with all those trade backs occurring at the latter half of the second round. But entering day 2 today, the Buffalo Bills pick in 3 picks at pick number 35. We could talk about our favorite players and all of that stuff later, but there's some chatter that maybe the Buffalo Bills would be considered trading back again. Would that be a bridge too far if the Buffalo Bills make a deal back again?
I would say this, and I think a lot of people had a good view on this, Pat Moran included. And, Pat and I talk a draft a lot this time of year. I wouldn't be moving back again, I don't think, unless there was some like a 2027 first round pick involved. Like that's kind of where I'm landing right here. Or maybe even if you can get like a 2027 second and kind of, like something like that. Like it's going to have to be something, I think, where the Bills are. And look, they made out great last night with the with the value they got in return for the pick, the picks that they ended up getting back in those trades. So maybe lightning strikes for a 4th time. I don't know. I would love to just sit here and pick at 35 because I think there are, the guys that I think that you would have considered picking at 26 now are dwindling a bit. There's still obviously a handful of them there. But I think if you can come out of this and say, hey, we're taking a guy at 35 that we would have taken at 26, and we collected all these picks. And then if you look at sort of what the economics were and sort of what you got in that, when you traded for DJ Moore, things start to look a lot better for Brandon Beane, I think, when you put it that way. At the end of the day, the value was great what the Bills did last night. They still got to pick the right players at the end of the day with these picks, right? And I said in the kind of lead up to the show tonight, like maneuverability is the word of the day tonight, right? Because the Bills have now given themselves the chance to move around the board tonight should they choose to do so, whether that's down or whether that's up, and maybe potentially picking 3 times tonight, we will see. But they've given themselves options in sort of the meat of this draft where we thought maybe they weren't going to have any picks at all. They now might have 2, maybe even 3 picks if they decide to move up again. So I will say, please, let's just pick at 35, get 1 name in the books, and then let's go from there.
We got a couple of people coming in. Super chat from Justin Tyndall. Always appreciate the super chat. And as always, if you guys want to get your message heard, super chat's the easiest way to do it, but we will be pulling up comments throughout this evening. But Justin Tyndall says, tell callers we have 3 4s, knock my socks off. So yeah, if the Buffalo Bills trade, there are a number of different scenarios, right? They could trade back again if the board falls a certain way at picks 33 and 34, but they could also trade back up with all those 4th and 5th round picks they have, get back into the 3rd round. And as you said, make 3 selections today. I think there's a number of scenarios where a team could blow the Bills' socks off with a 2027 pick or a 2nd and a 3rd round pick. If that team really wants to get up to the top half of this round, that could interest the Buffalo Bills. But I think I am certainly more interested in trading back into day 2 and collecting our 3 picks that way than I am trading back We have one comment here from Chris S. He comes in and says, thanks, guys, for your coverage. Muted ESPN coverage and watched you all yesterday, and we'll be doing so again today. So much better. We appreciate that. We appreciate all of you guys who are joining us. And we got Justin Tippecanoe coming in saying, what's the ZJ from Beer Fest with the super chat? I always appreciate you as well. Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't know, you can't afford it, right? That's the saying.
So much to talk about. Like, my brain's kind of just like, I probably should have put like a nice succinct list so we could work our way through it. But the 49ers are on the clock right now. And sort of the speculation is, and they're letting that clock kind of run a little bit here. The speculation is that they're going to try and trade this pick because they could get maybe a nice little ransom for it. But the 49ers are picking, apparently, according to Draft Diamond. So we are going to be a little ahead of the television tonight, just so you are aware. So the 49ers pick is in. They did not trade it. Then there is this massive speculation surrounding the Arizona Cardinals and Carson Beck, which I think is crazy. But hey,
I love that. But I love that.
Kayvon Thibodeau tweeting the goodbye scene from Paul Walker from the Fast and the Furious franchise. So we could see a Kayvon Thibodeau trade here at any moment as well. So things are getting very, very interesting on night one of the NFL draft, and the Buffalo Bills find themselves right in the thick of it. And there were a number of people upset with the Buffalo Bills and their trading back yesterday. And for those people, I would say this: according to Jordan Reed, the Bills were trying to go up for Casey Concepcion. You know, Brandon Beane, he's in on everything, right? The Bills didn't get their guy in Concepcion. They traded back a couple of times. If they stick and pick at 35, they are likely to get a player within the margin of error of what they would have gotten at 26. And they essentially got their second round pick back, that early third that they got when they traded away when they traded for DJ Moore. So you can blame Brandon Beane for putting the roster in the situation that he did. I'm all for that. But the move that he made yesterday essentially recouped the DJ Moore trade and made DJ Moore, as Greg Thompson said yesterday, practically a free agent. And now the Buffalo Bills have their full array of picks here and then some in these middle rounds, and they can use those to maneuver and move up and down the board as they so please here on day two. So I was a big fan of all three trade backs. I don't there's no player that has come off the board yet where I've just said no and just kind of lost my mind. Like, there are three names right now: Christian Miller, Caden McDonald, Jacob Rodriguez. I would take any of those three guys in a heartbeat. The Bills are guaranteed any one of those three guys, even if they stick and pick here. Now, does Brandon Beane have the same board I do? Probably not. But there are about a dozen other names to choose from that I think a lot of Bills fans would be happy about.
And, you know, the show, like 2 shows probably before or No Matter What show, or maybe it was the show before or No Matter What show, you know, you came on and you were like, I'm not so excited about the draft and this and that. And it's like, you know, night 2 now all of a sudden has a whole different dynamic for the Bills than it did even just like before last night, right? Leading like Thursday, like Wednesday afternoon, Thursday afternoon, things feel a lot different now for the Bills on night 2 than they would have, you know, just 24 hours ago. And I think that there is a chance that we can look back on this and say this is one of the more shrewd, you know, trade down, you know, multiple trade down scenarios that Brandon Beane has made. At the end of the day, right, he did step 1, right? Step 1 was trying to collect value in this draft class where you feel like the meat of the value is in sort of these second and third round ranges, right? And he's done step 1. Now, step 2 is he has to deliver on the picks, right? We have to see who he goes for with these picks to see if he's going to pay off, at least for now, in our estimation, the value that he got from making those trades. So I can understand, you know, yes, like you can be upset with the roster construction, and I totally get that because I think a lot of people are. You can get upset with maybe the lack of direction or clear direction that the Bills have had from a roster construction standpoint over the last couple of years. But right now, the picture's incomplete for we have our first pick in, and I'll tell you what, this is the first pick that has really gone off of my board, and this is going to be a wild draft. There are going to be guys today that are drafted rounds ahead of where mock draft simulators are having them going.
a wide receiver is coming off the board. It is not Denzel Boston. It is not Chris Brazzell. It is not Jeremy Bernard. It is not Chris Bell. It
Can
is
I
not
take a guess?
Skylar Bell.
Because I haven't seen Zachariah Branch.
No, Dejon Stribling from Ole Miss going to the San Francisco. He's a very San Francisco 49ers wide receiver. He can replace Juwan Jennings as that sort of power slot. He's probably the best run blocking receiver in the draft. He's got that 4.4 speed at his size to get vertical, at least from the slot. I wasn't quite sure what his fit would have been in Buffalo. I know he gets after it in the run game, and he's got that speed and he's got that verticality, but most of his work came from the slot, and I think he's more of a power slot player. But Dejon Stribling off the board. I had him in my 125, 126 bucket on my big board. Yep. I had him ranked as my going to my power rankings here. I had him ranked well down my board. You can talk for a little bit. I am at 60 on my Bills.
49ers aren't afraid to make picks like this though. Like they're not afraid to just go after the guy that they like, that they know will fit what they want to do. Kyle Shanahan, obviously, no care at all, right? And I think to an extent, like the 49ers and teams like the Eagles even have they've got the benefit of the doubt in some of these cases where they know the guys that will work well in their system, and they have no shame in going and getting those guys.
I really think this is a great landing spot for Stribling too. I think Brock Purdy's going to get that dude the rock, and he's going to have some games. And who's the guy that, again, this is like fans are going to be mad. Like, the 49ers taking another wide receiver. Who's that? Why am I blanking? This is going to be one of those nights where I'm blanking on older. But yeah, Ricky Pearsall. Ricky Pearsall's on the injured list so much that Stribling's going to be guaranteed a million snaps here. But that's a rocked up athlete that they just got at wide receiver, and probably the nastiest run blocker in the draft. The Cardinals pick is in, and I will tell you what, if it is, the Cardinals pick is in, I can announce the pick. I was gonna say, if it's Carson Beck, my brother-in-law is gonna lose his mind. He texted me last night telling me who he wanted, so he's about to be really happy because it is who he wanted. It is a player I had in my round or pick 35 big board. An offensive lineman off the board here, Chase Besantis out of Texas A&M.
Oh yeah, that's a good.
I thought he could have been in play. I thought he could have been a wild card in play for the Buffalo Bills at pick number 25. So Cole Besantis is now off the board. I had him in my pick 35 bucket, and I had him as 13 on my Bills specific big board. He is now off the clock as well. So the Bills are up. None of the finger quote names have come off the board yet. The Denzel Bostons, the Cade McDonald's, et cetera, et cetera. The Bills have their choice here. They can have Miller. They can have McDonald. Yep. They can have Rodriguez. They can have Boston. They can have CJ Allen if they want CJ Allen. Not my cup of tea. Boston's not my cup of tea either. Do you have any vibes on what do you think is going to happen here? Do we think the Bills are going to stick and pick? Or do we think they're going to trade down? Because this is not as, and again, maybe the media is just trying to drum up a story to get some viewers in the afternoon, but we were promised some fireworks. We were promised a trade at 33, and we were promised, I just dropped my Sharpie. We were promised a trade at 33, and we were promised Carson Beck at 34. So what is going on here? These are not the fireworks.
It'll be TJ Parker just because we don't want it to happen.
Yes,
right?
TJ Parker is on my no-fly list. Denzel Boston's on my no-fly list. CJ Allen I like, but I don't like him this high.
At this point, you're playing with, I think you're playing with a little bit of fire here at this point, right? Like, I feel like you need to get a guy in the building at this point, right? Like, picks are great until they turn into players, as we've said, right? The famous saying. So like,
groundbreaking.
I don't care. I don't care if you feel like you're picking out of like 7 or 8 guys that are similarly valued. Like, just take one of them. Take one that you really like. Brandon
Bean is going to trade back until there's only one name left that he could possibly take, and then he'll take that guy. So he'll be like, there was only one left. Like, what can you be mad about? Look at the board. But no, I mean, the Bills have options. If I'm looking at, this is in no particular order, but if I'm looking at my pick 35 bucket on my big board at wide receiver, I only have one wide receiver. I have Jeremy Bernard out of Alabama. He is my next wide receiver up. I have him over Brazzell, Boston, Chris Bell, Skylar Bell. I have Emmanuel Pregnon, the guard out of Oregon. Christian Miller is my number one. Caden McDonald's my number 2. Jacob Rodriguez is my number 3. Kyle Lewis, the linebacker out of Pitt, I would take him here. I'd put him in this bucket, even though who knows if he's really a fit for what Buffalo wants to do. R. Mason Thomas, Zion Young, Gabe Yakis. If you want to go corner, D'Angelo Pond, Xavier Terrell, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, Traydon Stukes. These guys are still all on the board. So it'll be really interesting to see what they do. The pick is in. So the Bills are sticking and picking. The Bills are not trading here, folks.
Okay, we're finally getting a pick
ticker
here.
The ESPN ticker.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Dave.
Here it is.
The pick is in, ladies and gentlemen. The Buffalo.
We knew it.
TJ Parker. The Buffalo Bills select.
Yep.
TJ Parker, the edge rusher from Clemson. And I had him in the pick 66 bucket. This is a high effort player, right? This is a guy that we had this conversation. We had this conversation yesterday, and we were talking about him possibly being there at pick 25. This is a guy where Brandon Beane's going to come up to the podium tonight, and he's going to say, well, look at his junior tape. If you looked at a mock draft in May of last year after the 2025 NFL draft, you would have seen TJ Parker in the top 10 of all of those mock drafts. And we just got him at the top half of the second round. That's the way that we have to do things in Buffalo because we're so good. I can almost guarantee you that words of that nature are going to come out of Brandon Beane's mouth. TJ Parker was not the pick I wanted. There were superior players on the board. Is he a high effort player? Yes, he is. Like, I will give him that, and we can get into the pros and cons of TJ Parker in a moment, but he is without a doubt not the best player that was on the board right now. And the Buffalo Bills took him because of the sticker on his helmet and because of what he did his junior year. And I hope this blows up in my face. Jessica Tennis comes in and says, Judge, remember Walker from last year? I do, but here's the difference. I love Deion Walker. I was just scared about the bag.
It's not the same comparison.
We were scared about the bag, right? Like, so there is a little bit.
And that was a 4th
here.
round pick, by the way, too, last year. So it's different. And
again, I'm a Bills fan. I will always be a Bills fan. I am ride or die with the Buffalo Bills. I hope I am wrong and TJ Parker is an all-pro. To me, he's a very, very similar to Bradley Chubb and Gregory Rousseau. Like, this guy's not dropping back into coverage. Like, I don't know exactly how you are sliding him onto the field and working him onto the field a ton with Chubb, with Rousseau, etc. But in Jim Leonard, we have to trust, right? And we can start talking about the pros and the cons here. But Dave, what are your thoughts on this selection here?
I mean, certainly not even on the short list of 5 guys I would have taken here. So, look, we oftentimes come on here, and obviously things have to play out. We have to see how things play out. A lot of times what happens is we come on here and we kind of try to rationalize, the selections. Oh, and this and that. Yeah, his 24 tape was great. But basically all the scouting reports on him were like, once he got more attention in 2025, his play dipped, and that in most scouts' minds is really who he is, right? Is what he was in 2025. So to me, I will sit here and say, as a knee-jerk reaction right now, 5 minutes after the pick, like, I don't like the pick. I don't like the pick. I think they could have taken Caden McDonald, Christian Miller. I think they could have taken EMW here as a higher ceiling safety to pair with Cole Bishop. Like, to me, this to me, I will say this. This to me, Brandon Beane, there's no Sean McDermott for you to blame this on. This is all on you now. Like, this pick, if it doesn't work out for you, it's all on you. And look, we don't know, as Connor G says in the chat, like, we don't know if it's going to work out. But I can tell you my feeling is I don't love it. I would have taken 5 or 6 other guys over this guy. And to me, this is just it screams Brandon Beane. It screams Brandon Beane over the past 7-8 years with the types of picks he's made. I'm not a fan of the pick. And If it turns out that he ends up being great, then I'm fine to eat the crow on it. I am not a fan of the pick.
34th on my Bill specific big board. I had 25 players above him still on the board.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm just, again, we have the element of the unknown, right? We have the element of we don't know what Jim Leonhard wants to do. And I think most of us can confidently sit here and say we have some semblance of trust in Jim Leonhard and faith in Jim Leonhard that he is going to correct this defense and get it figured out. But for the life of me, you have two space-eating nose tackles on the board. One of them with, I think, some pretty legitimate pass rush upside in Christian Miller. You have Emmanuel Pregnon, who could have been a plug-and-play left guard. You have Jacob Rodriguez, who could have been a plug-and-play Mike. You have R. Mason Thomas, Zion Young, Gabe Yakis, who I think are superior edge rushers. You have D'Angelo Pons, who I think could be one of the steals of this draft because he's getting underdrafted because of his size. You have Emmanuel McNeil Warren, who could be your Hufanga and that like enforcer in the middle of your defense. There are just so many superior players, in my opinion, that they are passing on. And you want to know what sold them? His 57 tackles, 11 sacks, and 6 forced fumbles in 2024.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And as you mentioned, people took notice of that, and he did not have a similar season in 2025. In 2025, he followed up that campaign with 5 sacks and no forced fumbles. This is a guy where he plays with violence. I will give him that. Like, he's a high effort player. And I don't mean to sit here and like sound like I'm being a jerk to TJ Parker, because I think he is a decent football prospect. I just think that there are plenty of players superior to him, right? I think he's a good power rusher. I think he's very similar in the mold of, obviously not Bradley Chubb, who went top 5, but he's a similar type of power player on the edge. And I do think he is a odd front sort of stand-up pressure guy, not a putting your hand on the ground guy. So I do think he's been correctly drafted by a team who plays a system that will fit him. He had a 28.6 win rate on true pass sets in 2025. So he still was getting to the quarterback. One of the things that I saw noted in multiple scouting reports is he gets to the quarterback and then he kind of looks a little lost and struggles to get the quarterback down. So the pressures were there, but the sacks weren't. He does look comfortable dropping back into coverage. I wouldn't call that a strength of his game, though. But again, inconsistent in the run game, I think, which can be worked on, can be fixed. He's not the bendiest edge in the world. As Caden McDonald goes to DeMeco Ryans and the Houston Texans. You know, DeMeco Ryans knows what he's doing, right? Like, that's a guy who knows what he's doing on draft day. Caden McDonald is a Houston Texan.
It's so typical. It's just like, so typical.
And again, I don't mean to be too awful to TJ Parker, who might be a solid prospect, but this is going to be another situation I fear. And again, I'm a Bills fan. I hope I'm wrong. I want to preface everything I say with that. I just feel like this is going to be a situation 5 years from now where it's going to be like, can you believe the Bills took TJ Parker over Caden McDonald? Because he went one pick after. So Brandon Mean, guess what? You now have to live with this pick.
Yep.
This pick is now part of your legacy. And the guy you probably should have taken one a pick later to a defensive coordinator who knows what the F he's doing.
Yep.
And Caden McDonald is going to be a force multiplier for that Houston defense. Look out. I do not want to play that defense this year. And yeah, you call me a wet blanket all you want in the comment section for some of you. Like, I'm just going to be real with you. I'm sick and tired of like carrying the water for Brandon Bean and trying to sugarcoat these picks. Like, he has a type. And how has that worked out for us? It has worked out with a lot of losses in January with a defense giving up 30 points a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, again, I just said it 5 minutes ago. You can't blame Sean McDermott now, right? We will see if TJ Parker works out. I will say, I hope he works out. I really do. But I agree that, you know, with Bills fans 7883, objectively, it's just not a good pick with who else was on the board and what you need for this defense. Apparently, you don't want to prioritize stopping the run, and we'll see what happens the rest of tonight. So jury's out. This is not a pick that shows that you are prioritizing stopping the run. You didn't do anything to suggest that in free agency. So we thought maybe we would do that in the draft. And your first pick of this draft is a guy who might be, a rotational edge or potentially even like a 4-eye player in this defense. Like we will see, right? And yeah, okay, like you can get mad at us for like not liking the pick. Like, who would you have taken? I'll ask the chat, for the people who are mad at us that we don't like the TJ Parker pick. You would have taken TJ Parker over Caden McDonald. You would have taken TJ Parker over Christian Miller. Like, you would have taken TJ Parker over all of these other guys that are available right now. Like, and Caden McDonald goes one pick later to the Houston Texans.
Tank Ninja comes in and says, nose tackle is a rotational position. What do you think an edge rusher is in this defense when Gregory Rousseau and Bradley Chubb are your starters? Can you picture a world where those three guys are on the field at the same time?
The nose tackle is a rotational position and 2-down player in the early downs on this defense that has historically struggled to stop the run in the last 7 to 8 seasons. Okay. Houston Texans, one pick later, D'Amico Ryans, the best defense, arguably, other than the Denver Broncos a year ago, snatch up Caden McDonald with that pick. So read into that what you want. But to me, Caden McDonald was a guy that was in demand for a defense that prioritizes stopping the run. So, in my opinion, Houston Texans made the better pick here than the Bills. And yes, okay, fine, we're morons. Like, fine, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Let's go to social media to see some reactions here. Let's start first with the OG of Cover One, Eric Turner. He says, here are his notes on TJ Parker. High IQ utility defender with elite production, 127 career pressures, heavy hands and power at the point of attack, can bump inside to 4-eye in odd front look. So I think that's something you just said. Yep. So maybe that's a way to get him on the field with Rousseau and with Bradley Chubb. And that seems to be like they talk with Grayson Holton as well. And they talked to Landon Robinson as well. So this 4-eye seems to be something that is really of importance.
By the way, the Texans traded up to get Caden McDonald too. Yeah. Let's just add that to the conversation. So just saying.
And Trevor Linebach comes in and says, don't forget Hoyt will be healthy. No, he won't. Like I wanted to pull it up, but it kind of went away here. No, he won't. Like, let's be real here. Yes, this dude seems like he has superhuman strength and he can do anything, but even if he's on the field week 1, I don't think he's going to be the football player you remember until at least mid-season, maybe longer. It might take him a full year to really fully bounce back from an injury like that, playing the position that he plays. Finishing out Eric's scouting report here, high motor battler with advanced screen awareness and run to pass transitions, compresses the pocket with heavy long arms, tightly wound frame, lacks elite bend or acceleration, but projects as a versatile, do-it-all base defensive end outside linebacker with a high floor. So Eric likes the player. I don't really have an answer to you on whether he believed that was the appropriate place to pick him. I can't tell you that. I like this tweet from Bruce Nolan. It kind of mirrors what you have to say here. He says, if you thought Sean McDermott was the reason the Bills had a type at edge rusher, we have isolated the variable, meaning It was not Sean McDermott who had this type of edge that he liked. It was quite, in fact, Brandon Beane as well. Anthony Prohaska comes in and says, in case there was any doubt with the signing of Chubb and the drafting of TJ Parker, it's becoming clear, or at least very coincidental, that Brandon Beane is a fan of the edge archetype the Bills have subscribed to for years. So he is also in agreement with.
And where has it gotten us? So, I mean,
a full little scouting report here from Anthony Prohaska, or mini scouting report here from Anthony Prohaska. TJ Parker is very much in line with what the Bills have previously looked for at edge, power-based, compression-based, can play all 3 downs, functions against the run, plays against it with physicality. He's got some pop to him and loves to use long arms to get into blockers and go through them. Also has some good hand usage, which he'll look for swipes and cross chops. So again, need to be clear here, right? Like, this isn't a bad football player the Buffalo Bills took by any means of the imagination. And I think we as fans we hope for the best with this pick, but I'm just looking at my own personal big board, and as a fan of the draft process, my goodness, there were 25 guys I would have rather had.
Mm. And the Raiders take Stukes with the next. Colton Hood got picked, and then Stukes after that.
All right, so Stukes is another guy off my board from the 35 bucket. I didn't have Colton Hood on my board. I thought he would go sooner. He's a corner, a boundary corner, so I didn't really start adding and stacking corners until like the second or third round guys, and I pretty much stuck to guys who can play press man and things like that. So like my first corner is D'Angelo Pons, then Avian Terrell. So I didn't have Colton Hood on my board. Trading Stukes was significantly ahead of TJ Parker on my board. He was 15th on my Bills specific big board. So he is now off the board as well to the Las Vegas Raiders. All right, let's take a look here. Is that all that has occurred since we started talking Bills here? Is trading Stukes and Colton Hood?
Yeah, other than McDonald, obviously, but yeah.
All right. I really like what the Texans have done here. Keelan Rutledge and Caden McDonald, they got beefier and they got better in the last 2 days. So kudos to them. I'm a big fan of both of those selections that they made here. All right. Dave, what are we thinking here as the Buffalo Bills are now scheduled to pick about 25, 20. I'm not good at the math. 28 picks from now. How are we feeling? I like just the typical he was saying tequila is on his specific big.
I mean, look, there's people in the comment section that are obviously saying like we don't know what's gonna. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. But based on, look, I'm not a guy on ESPN. I'm not whatever. I've been covering the draft between Fanatics and Cover One for like the last 7 or 8 years, and to me, this is one of my least favorite picks that have been made from the Buffalo Bills. I really hope I'm wrong. It is one of my least favorite picks they have made.
Denzel Boston joins the Cleveland Browns, who have now Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston, by the way.
No,
there are going to be Bills fans who I could just picture the Jeremy White tweets now.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if I don't listen to GR anymore, so I can't tell you what Jeremy White's feelings were on wide receivers. I think he just likes anyone at that position with a pulse. So my guess is that there will be a tweet about the Browns incoming from Jeremy White or Sneaky Joe as they took Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston to add to that wide receiver room with what apparently is going to be Deshaun Watson throwing them the football.
Yeah, and I mean, I think some people are making some good points in the comment section too, right? Like it's like what's the plan? Like I think like Ravy Gravy 15 says I don't get the plan. Like that's kind of where I am, right? Like what is the plan? Like I don't see the plan. Like what is your vision for trading down 3 times and then drafting TJ Parker, and then like what's your plan now for him in this defense? Like is he going to be a starting 4-eye? Like you still don't have a nose tackle.
At 263, I don't feel like that is he's a permanent 4-eye.
That's what I'm saying.
So in certain situations, he starts standing and then gets into that. Like,
so we draft versatility for the sake of versatility.
You have Landon Jackson too. Like, here's the deal, right? Like, because I like Zion Young and Gabe Yakas. I had them over TJ Parker. But if the Bills would have taken Zion Young or Gabe Yakas, I still kind of would have been like, And the reason for that is they are too similar to Gregory Rousseau, who we have established is going to be an edge rusher in this defense, not a 4-eye or a 5-tech, and Bradley Chubb. So I'm looking for a guy who complements them, who's different from them, who's maybe a little bendier, who's maybe more explosive off the snap. I was looking for a Malachi Lawrence, for a R. Mason Thomas, for a Jay Sean Barham, who I think they could move around as a joker, kind of like they're going to be able to move Michael Hoyt around when he finally gets healthy as a joker. That's what I was looking for. That's what my expectation was. So when the reality hits that it's just another pocket condensing edge, the same edge we've been drafting for 10 years now, that's going to be disappointing. And you're going to have to listen to this crash out for at least another 10 minutes here. If you're in the comment section, I apologize for that. Thank you to all 1,700 who are in here, by the way.
Yeah, and I mean, look, like you could say, yeah, we're not NFL scouts. We're not, but like Mel Kiper, who I feel like is pretty reputable, is saying he also doesn't like the pick. So like I don't think, and I could be wrong, but I have a feeling that that pick is going to be panned nationally, locally, and again, it's reactionary. I get that. I totally understand. We will not know for another couple years whether this is actually whether this plays out. And tons of times the grades or how people feel about it right after the pick is not what happens in reality. So I'm not trying to say that it's all said and done. But what I'm saying is that as someone who's not a scout, you are going to have scouts and you are going to have national analysts who are reputable that do not like this selection.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that.
And to me, like, and again, for all the people mad in the comment section, by the way, Kansas City Chiefs just took R. Mason Thomas off the board. So we got that to think about. I'm just so sick of like, I'm done because like this is what we used to do previously, right? The Bills would make their selection and then we would try to sugarcoat it to make it easier to swallow. I remember the Kyrie Elam draft, and it's like, well, look at his junior tape and look at the high upside of this and that, and like I'm just done doing that. You're gonna get how I feel about it, and if I'm wrong, anyone who knows me knows I love it when I end up on Old Takes Exposed. I've been there quite a few times, not quite a few, a decent number of times. Under 10, over 3. But like, I like being wrong. If I say something bad about my team and my team does something well and makes me look foolish, I still get to celebrate that my team did something well, right? Yeah. So again, if you're looking for somebody to come here and make you feel better about this pick, like I'll say the positives of him, which we have, and we've said the positives, like he's a good player. He makes sense on day 2. But as you said it, like I don't see the vision. Maybe the vision will make more sense in August. Maybe we will surround him with the proper talent, and Jim Leonard will be some defensive play calling guru, and he will reach the heights of what he was projected to be as an edge rusher after his junior year. Maybe that'll happen, but I'm just not feeling very confident that it does, especially when I had 25 players.
There's nothing I would
listed
like
over him
than for me and you both to be on Old Takes Exposed.
I would love it. This. Like, we don't want these to be bad picks, but we're just giving you our opinion. Like, so now the Bills still have in my opinion, the Bills still have a hole at odd front defensive end. Like, if you are looking for guys who are going to come in and be like your space eaters and guys who are going to help you stuff the run, the nose tackles, the 5 techs, we still are very much lacking in the beef up front. Can Jim Leonard's scheme overcome that? Can we still add guys? And can you find those guys later on the draft? Yes, you can. Right. So the full canvas has not been illuminated yet. So that is for certain. That is for certain.
And the Bengals take Cassius Howell.
See that one. The thing with Cassius Howell, and I had Cassius Howell right above TJ Parker. The thing with Cassius Howell is he added an element that was different. The short arms are obviously scary. But the thing with Cassius Howell is not going to be able to play rundowns. TJ Parker will be able to play rundowns because he's that sort of pocket condenser. That's the word that we've been using here. So again, it's in Jim Leonard, we have to trust, right? So,
well, my thing now is like with the scouting report on him is like, is he going to be a stand-up edge backing up Chubb or Rousseau, or is he going to actually play some 4-eye, or is he going to do a bit of both? I think that, and that's where I kind of get to the whole point of like, are we drafting versatility just for the sake of versatility? That's kind of been an MO of selections we've made in the past, and what you end up seeing, and the jury's out on TJ Sanders, right? We don't know exactly how his life's going to play out with the Bills, but like Brandon Beane came on last year and said, like, we're looking for 3-down players. Okay, you drafted TJ Sanders because you thought he was a 3-down player, and now we are having the conversation about him and potentially a guy like TJ Parker on like what is their role on the defense, right? Like I'd imagine they drafted TJ Parker with this pick, envisioning that he's going to be at first and foremost be a stand-up edge player, right? Like that would be my presumption based on where they picked him, right? I don't think you're picking a guy at pick 35 overall to be a rotational 4-eye type of player. Like I would imagine they're drafting him, hoping he can get back to what he was in 2024, or at least split the difference and be a stand-up edge rusher for this team, right? That would be his first role, I would imagine. And then if he can come down and drop down on, maybe in early downs, he plays like, I don't know, right? We'll see. But yeah, I think, time will tell what they plan to do with him in the defense. I've been big on, and my stance has been pretty consistent over the years of, I don't like drafting versatility just for the sake of versatility. I'd rather draft a guy who's really, really good at one thing. And by the way, this was what we actually did with Osiris Torrance, right? Mm-hmm. He was a pure right guard when we drafted him. He was not versatile. That's what he did. And he's worked out to be one of the better picks that we've made in the last several years because he was really, really good at one thing. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. You don't have to draft versatility just for the hell of versatility. So we'll see what, again, it's the first pick of this draft for the Bills. We'll see how as you put it, the complete canvas comes together. There's obviously more to come tonight and potentially more than one pick to come tonight. We'll see what happens, but it's an interesting start for them right now.
All right, let's take a look here and see if there's any updates. Now, the Bengals pick of Cassius Howell just went on in the air. And the other major nose tackle that we had our eye on, the one that I thought had some pass rush upside, the number one guy left on my big board, is off the board with the New Orleans Saints taking Christian Miller out of the University of Georgia. So Christian Miller is off the board and the Dolphins are on the clock. So let's talk about what the Bills need, right? And then we can power rank them. How about I list what I think they need, and then you can sort of rank the order in which you'd like to see them selected. Obviously, best player available plays a role in all this. But the Bills need backup quarterback competition. That's very low on the burner, but they need it. They need another wide receiver, a receiver I think with some verticality to his game. They need and for the people saying don't spoil the picks, I don't know if you're talking to us or the comment section. We have made it very clear we are going off of what we see on the internet, not so much what we see off the television. So sorry about that. They need a receiver with some verticality to his game, some stretching, maybe a fullback, right? Just typically who says fullback. I still think they need some offensive line competition. I don't think anyone's job should be guaranteed after the top four. They need some like 5-tech-ish type of edges. They need nose tackles. They need a nose tackle, like a space-eating nose tackle. They need probably a linebacker for one, and then probably a second one for depth because they don't have a lot of linebackers. They need a boundary corner, CB3. They could probably use a developmental safety. No one after the top two should be guaranteed a job. They need a punter and maybe a return specialist. So we're talking 10, 11, 12 needs here for the Buffalo Bills. What would you say are like the top 3 or 4 that we should really be honing in here on day 2?
I mean, well, I was pretty clear, like going into tonight, I feel like, and even going back to last night, I feel like a run stuffing nose tackle is near the tops of the list, right? To me, that is just such a.
It's not to the Bills though.
I know
they don't. Care.
I know, which is weird because, Jim Leonard's the new coordinator. He had DJ Jones in Denver for years as that guy. Like why? Like. Unless they really think that Deion Walker is going to be that guy, maybe they do. Maybe they do, right? I think an off-ball linebacker for sure has to be near the top of the list of needs. I think wide receiver has to be there and a boundary corner. Like to me, those are I was big on Emmanuel McNeil Warren. I would have been fine taking him, honestly, with that pick 35 just because of the ceiling. Safety still, I think, in the long term is a need, someone to pair with Cole Bishop. And so I would say, like, for me, I would have prioritized it probably no run stuffing defensive tackle, off ball linebacker, wide receiver, boundary corner, safety depth. That would have kind of been my order. That's kind of how I would have ordered it.
We got Jay Clark coming in saying, and you're right, Jay Clark. He says, you don't know that they don't care just because they didn't spend their first pick on it. Doesn't mean they don't care. Obviously, we have 7 years of data to show that they don't care under the McDermott era. They went through the whole wave of free agency without caring this year, and they've now gone midway through the second round without caring. But, okay, let's go through here. In my 66 bucket, I have Lee Hunter. In my 101 bucket, I have Dominique Orange. In my 125, 126 bucket, I have Darrell Jackson Jr. and Chris McClellan. In my 167, 168 bucket, I have Nick Barrett and Brandon Cleveland and Albert Regis. In my 6th, 7th round bucket, so I believe that's 182. I didn't actually write the number down. Tim Keenan III, Dante Corleone. And then Bobby Jamison Travis. And then as a PFA, I don't know, Dominic Williams. Like, okay. They got to take one of these guys or else, to me, they don't care. Like, to me, they straight up don't care. If they don't take one of those guys that I just listed. They got to at some point, right? Like, or they really do. They only value penetration. They do not value those two gappers, the space eaters, things like that. If they don't take one of the guys that I just listed. Or go out and sign a guy in free agency after the draft. I don't know who's available. Patton Place comes in with the super chat. I always appreciate you, Patton Place. He says top 5 needs, new GM, a plan, injury luck, hope, less salty Patton. Yeah. So again, this is kind of maybe like the buzzkill hour here, but yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how the Bills go from here, right? But to me, the way the draft flows now, it's going to really stink because it's just the first pick is just really going to drag everything down. It's like, man, it would have been really nice to get Dominique Orange if we had gotten Jacob Rodriguez at, 35. It'd been really nice to get Dominique Orange if we got, if we even got like an R. Mason Thomas. It would have been really nice to look at Dominique Orange if we got Emmanuel Pregnon or Jeremy Bernard or something like that. Like, just to me, TJ Parker is going to be an anchor on this whole draft for me. I hate to be a buzzkill about it, but yeah.
Yeah, and
Jacob Rodriguez to Miami.
Yep.
So the Dolphins take Jacob Rodriguez off the board. So now the top 3 guys that I wanted the Bills to take at 35. Caden McDonald, Christian Miller, and Jacob Rodriguez are now off the board. The top 3 guys that were remaining on my big board are now off the board. The best player left on my big board is Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. The Jets have traded with the Lions. It'll be interesting to see where they go here with this pick. They traded 50 and 128 for 44. So the Lions are now on the clock. But the Miami Dolphins have Jacob Rodriguez. How do you feel about that one?
Well, look, I think part of me is like my process that I trust, and like I trust both of our processes, and I trust Eric and I trust Anthony from the film standpoint. Like, seeing these guys like McDonald and Rodriguez, get picked very soon after the Bills have been on the clock gives me some validation that like we were on the right track with these guys as far as like where they maybe they should have been picked. And so we'll see again, like time will tell for all of these guys, but like it does, I feel like give me some vindication that we were right, at least for how we assess them from a draft value standpoint. We don't know how they're going to play out football wise on the field yet, but like having these guys go right after is tough. Right. And I think Miami gets a good player in Jacob Rodriguez. I think I would have been fine with him at 35 as well, because it was obviously a need for the Bills. You could make the argument, like, would he have come in and started over either Bernard and Williams? Like maybe he would have started over Williams, right? We don't know. But also like, I kind of agree with Bills Mafia 0566. Like, I like Rodriguez, but we need a more Trotter type. And like maybe Josiah Trotter is the guy for us later in this draft. So like, I'm not going to get too bent out of shape about Jacob Rodriguez, because I do feel I agree with Bills Mafia 0566 and that we do need more of a thumping inside linebacking off ball linebacker. But it is still kind of annoying to see him go to a division team.
Yeah, disappointing to say the least. A trade. The Cowboys are trading for 49ers linebacker D Winters. They traded a 5th round pick. And then we are still waiting on the Lions here. Nope, the Lions pick is in. It's a very Lions pick. They're adding a Michigan edge rusher to go along with Aiden Hutchinson. It's not our boy Jason Barham, though. Derek Moore is heading to the Detroit Lions. I thought he'd be more of an odd front guy than an even front guy, and they got that even front there in Detroit. But Detroit's always looking to add more pass rushers. Detroit gets a pass rusher in Derek Moore. So Derek Moore is off the board. He was relatively high on my Bills specific board. Not as high as TJ Parker. I had him going a little bit later, but Derek Moore was 50 on my Bills specific big board. So he is off the board now. Looking through it, right, we are still ways away from the Bills picking again. The Bills pick in, 44, 54, 64, 24 picks. I still have a bunch of guys from my 35 bucket still on the board. Jeremy Bernard from Alabama. Emmanuel Pregnon is still not gone, the guard from Oregon. Zion Young, Gabe Yakis, who are probably out of play now. The Bills took TJ Parker. Kyle Lewis, the linebacker. I have him a little higher than some of the other linebackers, but I also question whether he's actually a fit for the Bills. D'Angelo Pons, Avian Terrell in the corner realm. Emmanuel McNeil Warren still on the board here.
CJ Allen,
the safety. I wonder if there might be an injury thing with him. If we start looking into my second bucket, Chris Brazel, Chris Bell, Skylar Bell, Lee Hunter, Grayson Halton, Caleb Proctor, maybe Lee Hunter. He's a nose tackle with some pass rush pop. Jason Barham, but again, probably off the board with TJ Parker being selected. Josiah Trotter, Jake Golday, CJ Allen still on the board. AJ Halsey, Keontae Scott, Jalen Kilgore in the safety category. Keontae Scott more of a nickel. And we had that conversation yesterday. If the Bills do take Avian Terrell or Keontae Scott at some point in this draft or a nickel back, that all of a sudden makes D. Elford probably your starting punt returner because he's done that successfully in the league. And he's no longer a starter, so you don't feel like you're risking him. And he can be your boundary corner and your nickel depth at a pretty affordable contract. So I'm not going to completely take nickel off the board as well for the Buffalo Bills as a possibility at pick number 66. As we roll on here with the draft, we now have Baltimore on the clock, and we are waiting to see who the Ravens select. And the Ravens in the first round got Ione out of Penn State. It'll be interesting to see who they add here at the second round. It's probably going to be someone that, quite frankly, pisses me off. I have a feeling they're going to pair Ione with another player that I would just be like, damn, that's a nice little pair. I don't think they're going to go too far off the board here, and they're probably going to take a player with some tooth to him. I wouldn't be surprised if they took a safety. I think they need a safety. No, Kyle Hamilton. I don't have the team needs in front of me anymore like I did yesterday. I probably should have kept that sheet in front of me, but
I got you. Yeah.
What do we think of Baltimore needs here?
All right. I'm going to take a look at the Ravens really quick. Obviously, they have Hamilton. They have Malachi Starks, who they drafted a year ago.
Yeah.
So probably set on safety. Did they make their pick?
They did. It's Zion Young, the power edge. Very similar to TJ Parker, a guy who's going to condense the pocket more so than a bendy guy. I think he might have been more of a fit in an even front, but he's got that sort of like Zadarius Smith vibe to him. I had him as my 16th overall prospect compared to TJ Parker, who is my 34th overall Bills specific prospect. So to me, the Ravens got the better edge rusher, in my opinion. The Buffalo Bills.
Yes. And I mean, I think there might have even been some outside chance of people thinking Zion Young in the first round. It wasn't me, but there was chatter about it. So we'll see. Look, I mean, someone asked, what do you think is the next pick that would send you over the edge to you? What would be the Billsiest pick to send you over the edge here on the next pick? I'm still holding out hope maybe for a guy like Josiah Trotter here with our next pick. I think that would be a nice pick. Maybe Big Citrus. We'll see. It's still around. So we'll see. But is there a guy like you could see the Bill, like now knowing that they took TJ Parker, is there a guy that like just screams Brandon Beane pick to you that's like kind of in your 65 range?
Let's see. CJ Allen.
CJ Allen does. I'd actually be okay with that though at 65 or whatever it is we have. I
would too. That's the bucket. Especially if Josiah Trotter and Jake Olday are off the board. Keontae Scott.
Yeah, but I think I'd be okay with, like, the thing is now these guys like
Chris Bell.
Yeah.
I again, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say I'm probably putting it into the cards that he's going to be the Bills' pick now, but I'm not the biggest Chris Bell fan. He's
just not going to do anything for you in 2025 or 2026.
I think he could be ready by midseason from the things I'm hearing, but it's just like there's a guy who catches it and goes for him, and he's a big guy, and it looks fun, and it looks very much like AJ Brown after the catch, and that's exciting. But this guy was rarely targeted down the field, so it's literally projection what he's going to be able to do down the field. It's kind of iffy with him at the catch point on 50-50 balls. Not a polished route runner in the least bit. Like, that's an athlete that goes vroom and he's big when he catches it, but you're betting on traits and you're betting on developing those traits. Oh no. What now?
Josiah Trotter to the Bucks. So now they got Reuben Bain and Josiah Trotter. Man,
that stings. That was one of the. It just stinks. Yeah. It just. Why do we do this to ourselves, man? Why do we invest ourselves in this process just to let Brandon Beane ruin it for us? Like, why do we?
Well, you already know the playbook. You already said it perfectly. He's going to come on there and he's going to be like, this is a guy that, you know, if you had talked to us last year, he would have been a top 15 player, like blah, 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 right?
I really hope that, I really hope that is, that's what he says. I really hope those.
It's almost guaranteed. It's almost guaranteed.
Unless one of his burners saw my tweet. Because let's be real here. Brandon Beane cares about what I think, and doesn't say it. So if he doesn't say it, it's just to spite me. Yeah, Josiah Trotter, man, that stings. He was my number one linebacker left after Kyle Lewis, but like I said, there's like an asterisk next to Kyle Lewis. I just didn't know what his fit would be in Buffalo, but I love the player anyway, so I put him on my board. Did I already cross Josiah Trotter off? Yeah, I already crossed him out. I had him 24th on my Bills specific big board. And really my second linebacker that I legitimately thought the Bills would draft.
He was my no matter what linebacker.
He was your no matter what linebacker.
This one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was my no matter what linebacker for this. And I thought, you know, tonight could have been the night. Tonight could have been the night, but it's okay. There are other good linebackers in this draft, so I'm not gonna be too. I mean, it's disappointing because he was my no matter what guy, but I think, you know, there are other guys that I like. I like your guy. I like your guy from Arizona State. Maybe later, maybe day 3. Keyshawn Elliott.
I got him in the 160. I got him in the 167 bucket, but if he goes in the 125, 126, that wouldn't upset me. Jimmy Rolder is still available. Caleb
Jimmy Rolder, another guy. Yep. Caleb Evans.
Jake Olday still there. CJ Allen, Anthony Hill Jr. Not my cup of tea, but he's some other people's cups of tea.
I like Anthony Hill Jr. Yeah.
You know what? You know, again, some people have probably turned us off because of our toxic nature at this point. But if the Brandon Beane was really looking to piss some people off, and again, I'm not even saying these are bad players, but taking a corner with this next pick, like a boundary corner, like a Malik Muhammad who they worked out, like had top 30 with, like a Julian Neal. Brandon Beane was at Ohio State's pro day, so a guy like Davison Igbinason, like a press man corner. Could that be next for the Bills? Just Hey, we're gonna take CB3 with our 66 pick.
Yeah, and RJ makes a kind of a good point here. CJ Allen's available for now. Anyone likes will be gone by the end of the second. We got about 20 more picks right until the Bills pick again anyway. So it's gonna be, over 20 picks until they pick again. So the Colts are up now, followed by the Falcons and then Vikings and then Jets. So yeah, we are what are we? We are about 14 picks into the second round at this point. So not quite halfway there, but just about halfway through the second round at this point. And look, I mean, at least, the Bills do have the second pick in the third round, pick 66. So we are, just over 20 picks away from that, or just about 20 picks away from that. So yeah, we will see. I mean, I could probably rattle off 20 guys I would take right now, and one of those guys are still going to be available. So, but
let's say, because my Bills specific big board does not have like quarterbacks, running backs, tight ends, pure offense, for the most part, pure offensive tackles. It doesn't have a lot of the cornerbacks who are considered zone heavy. It doesn't, there's positions that I left out of my Bill specific big board. So if we go to my Bill specific big board, let's count off the next 15 guys. And let's say theoretically the next 15 guys go off the board. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, D'Angelo Pons, Emmanuel Pregnon, Gabe Yakus, Jeremy Bernard, Kyle Lewis, Avian Terrell, Lee Hunter. Oh, I forgot to cross out Keelan Rutledge. AJ Halsey, Chris Brazel, Grayson Halton, Jake Golday, Chris Bell, CJ Allen, Keontae Scott. Then I had TJ Parker, Brandon Cease. So that would leave the Bills with, these would be like the next 5 guys up. Skylar Bell would. Jay Sean Barham, probably off the board now because of TJ Parker. Caleb Proctor, interior penetrator. I thought he'd be a 4-eye, but now is TJ Parker the 4-eye? Jalen Kilgore would. Caleb Elam-Zor would. Malik Muhammad, we're in the Malik Muhammad range. Kieran Crawford, edge, probably won't do that. Brennan Thompson, the speedster, probably would. Anthony Hill Jr.
would.
Dominique Orange would. Zakee Watley would. So I mean,
did you have Golday getting picked in one?
I had Golday getting. I had Golday going before. If like my next 15 guys come off the board, and Lord knows the NFL GMs don't care what I think. So it'll be really interesting to see what is going on here. Someone in Caps Lock just said, "What are the Bills doing in server?" So I wonder if he just got here, or if the Bills did something. Did the Bills do something?
And we got a super chat coming in from Brian Smith, 9590. Give me a speed wide receiver who can also be returner. I mean, Brennan Thompson.
Oh,
there you go.
Steelers. Colts. The Colts. Did the Colts pick? The Colts did not pick. They traded with the Steelers. And the Steelers take Jeremy Bernard, who is my top wide receiver left on the board. So my top wide receiver is off the board, and Jeremy Bernard. I'm really high on Jeremy Bernard. Gosh, who is that Colts receiver? But Pierre Garçon. I had Pierre Garçon vibes from Jeremy Bernard. Remember Marvin Jones Jr.? I kind of got his vibes as well.
Yeah, Marvin Jones
from a Jeremy Bernard. The guy just gets open versus zone. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that because they want the man beaters, but the NFL is 70% zone. He just finds the soft spot. He's a yak guy. I really love Jeremy Bernard. Really grew to love him and appreciate him. From the time I started doing work on receivers, he probably went from like 15, 16 up to he finished 6. He finishes my wide receiver 6. I really like Jeremy Bernard. So was a big fan of his game and scouting him through the process and working through him through the process. So he is off the board now as well. Somebody mentioned in the super chat, they want a receiver with speed and returnability. Well, I don't think Chris Bell returns, nor do I think he really gives you verticality. Brennan Thompson gives you the verticality. I don't think he returns. I don't think Antonio Williams was a return guy. He might have been, but he's also pretty much a slot guy. Bryce Lance, I don't think did returns, but he can give you some verticality. Malik Benson is a name that you'd probably appreciate. A guy can give you verticality, return kicks and punts. Zachariah Branch, Deion Burks.
Zachariah Branch is an interesting name to me because before the season, he was he was pretty highly ranked by a lot of the draft community, right? I think like he was a clear day 2 guy, right? And I'm not saying he's necessarily like second round, but a clear day 2 guy, right?
Brandon Bean will come out the clock and be like, well, when he was at USC, when he was first recruited.
Well, he was a
5-star on Rivals.
Well, yeah. I mean, 2023 he was the Jet Award winner, right? Which is the nation's top return specialist, right? So if you're looking for someone with turnability, Zachariah Branch is that guy, right? He had a kick return touchdown, punt return touchdown as a freshman.
Maybe I am too salty
at USC.
Today.
So I like Branch. I think like he's kind of lost in the fray a bit this year, in the draft process. But like, before the season, NFL Draft Buzz, PFF had him in the top 100 in their top 100. PFF had him as their wide receiver 10, 70th overall prospect. So I mean, like there was some pretty high like expectations, I think, for Zachariah Branch, and he does give you that. If you're looking for a guy with returnability, he's the guy that you start the conversation with, right? So
yeah. The issue I have with both Burks and Branch, because I do see the upside of both. Just show me a receiver that size and those speed that like is like just an impactful guy where you're like, I'm glad I spent a day 2 pick on him. It gets few and far between, man. Like it's
more of the
exception. Like these guys aren't Tyreek Hill. I'm being real. They're not Tyreek Hill. Like these guys are in they're probably going to be better pros then, but they're in the same mold as like Isaiah McKenzie, right? Like, and when you have guys like that, guys who return kicks and punts, and McKenzie couldn't field punts, so he stopped doing that at the end. But guys who are just like return specialists, get on the field, 20 snaps a game as a receiver to be the gadget guy and run slot fades, like those guys. I love them in the 5th through the 7th round. I don't love them in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round. At 4th, you can sell me, but I don't love them on day 2. Like call me I kind of make fun of the value people all the time. I'm like, who cares? You take the best freaking player, right? Like I always usually say that, but I still do have some guardrails. And this is kind of one of them. One of the guardrails that I have here is just like, you can't be taking these 29-inch arm mini mites on day 2. Avian Terrell is off the board, joining his brother in Atlanta.
Hey, there Falcons.
You go. Dude, they're going to have literally like brothers on the boundary. That's pretty dope. Actually, Avian Terrell is probably going to move into the slot to replace D. Alford. So that's a great pick for Atlanta. Dude, I'm at the point where I would have rather had Avian Terrell than TJ Parker. they got the better Clemson player.
Oh boy.
Okay, maybe I should stop. Maybe I'm being too salty tonight.
No, I mean, look.
I had Avian Terrell 20 on my big board, so I'm being honest to what was going on before the draft started. Like,
yep.
So my best available would be McNeil Warren, D'Angelo Pons, Emmanuel Pregnon, Gabe Yakus, Kyle Lewis, Lee Hunter, AJ Halsey, Chris Brazel, Grayson Halton, Jake Golday, Chris Bell, CJ Allen, Keontae Scott, Brandon Cease, Skylar Bell, Jay Sean Barton. Like, there's still plenty of names, but Lee Hunter sticks out.
Yeah, Lee Hunter,
nose tackle who can pass rush. The issue with him, like, he's kind of got chicken legs, right? So people say that about him. But the guy benches. He's very top heavy. Kool-Aid man would be a great comp for him. But he was the middle of that Texas Tech defense that was college football playoff, one of the better college football defenses we've seen in a long time. Plenty of draft picks coming out of that defense this year. He can rush the passer. He's a big beefy dude, and he could be a force multiplier in the run game as well. So Bills had him in for a top 30. Lee Hunter is still on the board. That's a name that definitely we should be scoring in on if the Bills are serious about adding a nose tackle.
Yeah, I mean, and again, like we've got about 17 odd picks. Like, it wouldn't shock me at all. It wouldn't shock me at all if he's gone by the time they pick. But in any case, like, there are some nose tackle, like Big Citrus is still out there, but is he worth he might be worth an early third. Like, I think Lee Hunter, it would certainly be worth it. I think Anthony Hill Jr. in my mind would be worth it. I think CJ Allen would be worth it. And like, I think the math would say like somebody, one of these guys that we've been talking about is going to be there. It's going to be available because we haven't even really, like you said, talked really much about tight ends or running backs that could potentially go, right? Is Carson Beck a name at quarterback that maybe goes in the late second? We'll see, right? I doubt it, but you just never know. So, and now I just realized I hadn't marked Chris Johnson off my board yet, so I have to mark him off from yesterday.
Warren Sharp with a tweet that I'm noticing here. He's showing this chart here. The Bills have spent the least draft capital on offense of any team since 2020.
Really?
Yeah.
They're just like, Josh Allen can solve it all for us. No problem.
But the two teams behind us, or after us, the three teams after us, Rams, Chiefs, and Eagles.
Really?
So, yeah.
Least amount on offense, those three teams, Rams, Chiefs, and Eagles. Interesting.
It's because the Chiefs, the Eagles, and the Rams are trading for all their stuff.
Well, and the Chiefs, Eagles, and Rams defenses in the playoffs tend to have showed up where they've made those investments.
Yeah.
So, just saying. Yeah. Yakis won't happen. Already took, obviously. But I don't know. I'm kind of not sure now, like who I want to fall or who I like would want here. I think like right now, to me, in looking at who's available, the linebackers seem to be the bunch that to me has the most collective names that I think like if you start seeing guys get picked off from that group, there could still be a name or two left for the Bills at 66 at linebacker. That's kind of where I'm looking right now between CJ Allen and Anthony Hill Jr. I feel like maybe there's some names there still. It's very interesting to me, this Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. I would call it a fall because I really thought he could have been picked in the first. Would not shock me if he gets picked very soon, but
the Vikings just traded up.
Is this a okay?
No,
so
Vikings traded.
McNeil-Warren.
The Panthers are now on the clock. Do I got that right?
Panthers on the clock. Yes, you are right. The Panthers.
So, who did the Panthers take in the first round? They took.
We thought it would be Lemon, but they didn't. They took offensive lineman. I can't remember who it was, but they took an offensive.
Was it Blake Miller?
No, the Lions.
No, that was Detroit.
Yeah, the Panthers took. Why am I?
They've been rumored to be on a safety, so maybe Emmanuel McNeil-Warren here. They've also been rumored to be on wide receivers, so maybe a Chris Bell or a Chris Brazel for them or something. Whatever it is, they felt like they needed to trade up 2 spots. Oh, my gosh. Lee Hunter.
Panthers took Monroe Freeland.
Yes, but they've also now taken.
Who'd you say?
Lee Hunter off the board for the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, nice pick, Panthers.
My next nose tackle on the board was Lee Hunter. He was my 22nd ranked player on my Bills specific big board. He is now off the board.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So another nose tackle off the board. Now, if we're looking for pure nose tackles, Slick Mongeese says Big Citrus still there. Big Citrus is now my number one nose tackle left on the board. I still think 66 will be a little rich for my blood, though, for a guy like Dominique Lynch. I think 101 or a trade back into round 3 would be more appropriate.
Let me see who's on my top of my list on defensive tackle. Let's see. We got, now that Lee Hunter's gone, Big Citrus is also number 1 on my board. Then we got, I think right behind him, I've got Daryl Jackson. I've got the Godfather. And then you start getting into like the Capeharts and the Keenans of the world after that. And to me, those guys to me are not worth an early third. So I would guess the Bills would not do that. Plus, the fact of the matter is we've wanted a run stuffing nose tackle for years, and we're just not going to get one. Like it's just not going to happen for us. We're just not going to get one. So You know what? Next year, I am going to not even think that we're going to. I'm not even going to put it in the universe that we're going to get a run stuffing nose tackle. And so maybe if I do that, they will actually take one. So we'll see. We'll see about that.
Yeah, Dante Corleone said might fall due to surgery. I have him. I have him in my 6th, 7th round bucket because I think that blood clot stuff is going to drop him. And I think he's very one-dimensional. You're not getting any pass rush pop on Dante Corleone. Period. Like flat out, you're not. And I just don't think that's really I think the Bills want at least a little pass rush pop from their nose tackle. So drafting him in the 6th round, obviously that maybe not as big of a factor, but drafting one earlier, I think you want a little bit more juice than Dante Corleone provides. Maybe before some of the injuries. Like if he had come out his sophomore year or something, the Bills could have been a little bit more. Oh, actually, I take it back now. Brandon Beane's just going to be tossing out the sophomore highlights of Dante Corleone.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you who I feel like could be like a Brandon Beane pick that would sort of be a pick that we could get behind, and that I think people would be okay with. Caleb Elam's-Orr. That's who I think maybe could be a pick that. Yeah, it does scream kind of Brandon Beane a little bit, but also I think like people could get behind that pick. I think I'd be okay with that in the early 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Where's he on your list? Where's Elam's-Orr on your big board?
I have him in the 101 bucket. He was in the 91 bucket, but I dropped him down because I thought 66 was a little rich. He would be the 40th player on my Bill specific big board. I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I currently have 17 players above him. But some of those players, like if you truly believe the Bills don't have a corner on their wish list this early, he would be 16th, 15th, 14th on my board. If you don't believe that they'll take another edge rusher, 13th.
Now, let me ask you this question. If 12, Jake Golday 11th, gets to the Bills at 66,
he's probably top 10 left on my board if you take out some of the positions where you think, the Bills already took this guy. The Bills wouldn't be interested in this type of player. You could probably make a reasonable case that he's probably one of the Bills' top 10 players left on their specific big board, knowing that they brought him in for a meeting.
Yep. And I could definitely see it. Like, to me, I could see that over Golday, even though I prefer Golday. I could see them taking Elam's-Orr over Golday if both were on the board.
Mike Greenberg called Denzel Boston David Boston's son live on air. They're not even related.
That's great. So for all the people who are, we all make mistakes. People.
All right. So the New York Jets are on the clock.
Jets
they just got a really good player. They just got the number one player left on the second player left on my big board. D'Angelo Pons. That one stings. Like that's one of those ones where you're like, dang, a division rival got that guy. D'Angelo Pons
Jets are doing nice, man.
We say this all the time though about the Jets.
It's true. It's still
the last time they had 5 first-round picks.
It's still the Jets, but I mean,
they're certainly better than they were last year.
They are doing what they need to do, right? They are trying. They've got Bailey. They went and drafted probably the best tight end in the draft in Sadiq. Then they went and got Omar Cooper Jr., who they traded up in front of us to get. And now they add Pons. So they've added 2 really good defensive players, and they've added 2, pretty good weapon prospects on offense as well. So I would say, and all of these guys are probably going to get a chance. Like they're all going to get a chance to play. Obviously David Bailey will, but like all these guys are going to get a chance to play. The Jets are, their Jets are doing well. And as someone says, the actual season, Slick Mongoose says the actual season is their kryptonite. So Jets killing the off season, killing his draft, but when we'll see.
I'll tell you what though, like the next 2 picks are Minnesota and Green Bay. And I have a feeling they're going to take 2 other guys who are really high on my specific board. Like I think Minnesota and Green Bay are 2 teams play a similar defense to what this new Bills defense is going to look like. And I think they're going to take 2 guys off the board here that we're going to be like, dang. Like,
Yeah.
I think Emmanuel McNeil-Warren could hear his name come off the board here. Wouldn't shock me if like an AJ Halsey heard his name come off the board here. Green Bay could be in on Emmanuel Pregnon. The offensive lineman to add some beef there. If they're looking for a pass rusher, obviously the more pass rushers that go, the better. Like a Gabe Yakas could be in play. A Grayson Halton or a Caleb Proctor, I think, could be in play for either one of these 2 teams. Both of these 2 teams, Minnesota and Green Bay, I think are going to, in good order here, take some pretty quality defensive players off the board in these next 2 picks.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see Halsey seems like I mean, that's definitely in play. The Rams pick in about 10 picks, I could see that being a Rams type of pick, AJ Halsey. I think there are a lot of teams upcoming that could take Halsey. McNeil Warren, like you said, I mean, honestly, you know what? McNeil Warren, feels like an Eagles pick to me at 54 coming up here.
Oh, Howie. Howie would.
That just feels like an Eagles pick at 54. It would not surprise me at all. If
there's got to be some kind of medical thing at this point with McNeil Warren, either that or like,
or they just really don't believe Toledo was that good.
I mean, the Eagles took a guy from Toledo in the first round last year.
Yeah.
Or 2 years ago. Panned out pretty well for him. So, how
about this question from Walter? If Jerron McCoy, the cornerback from Tennessee, is our pick, are you turning that down?
I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't done any work on him. I couldn't tell you. I did not think he'd be on the board.
Almost 6'1", 188, 77-inch wingspan for corners. Pretty strong. Obviously, primarily a boundary guy. As far as if you start to look across like consensus rankings for him, Daniel Jeremiah had him as his 14th ranked overall prospect in February, Draft Tech 8th, Jordan Reed 11th, NFL Draft Buzz 9th, PFF had him 12th in their most recent. Like, there must be something going on with him too, because I mean, people seem to love Jerron, and yet he hasn't been picked yet. So we'll see. We'll see about
Vikings
that.
pick
That could also be like an Eagles type.
TV might be beating draft diamonds here because the Vikings pick is in on TV, and our boy Dame hasn't dropped it yet on Twitter, on X. So maybe he's in the bathroom or something. But the Vikings, we're getting this on TV here. Wow. All right. So the pick is in for the Minnesota Vikings.
Might have to go to Ari here.
Yeah, I have to go to Ari here. Come on, Dame. All right, the pick is in. Jake Golday.
No, it's not really.
Yes, it is. It's Jake Golday of the Minnesota Vikings. What did I tell you, bro? Like,
you're right.
Brian Flores making a pick, and he's going to pick better than Brandon Beane. I'd rather have Jake Golday at 35 than TJ Parker. The Vikings got a better player at 51 than the Bills got at 35.
I mean, I can't really say you're wrong there. I mean, we'll see, but that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
I had Golday 30th on my Bill specific big board. I had him in the 66 bucket because I just had some linebackers ahead of him, but still I had him higher than TJ Parker. Someone's quoting Walter Football in the comments. We can't be going to Walter. Guys, there are so many websites and options you have today. Don't go to Walter Football, please. Steer clear of Walter Football. Also, it's 2026, guys. We can do better than that.
We fully understand that no snaps have been played. I get that. We get it. I understand. We can still criticize. Like, it's fine. Like, again, we are not rooting against this guy. That's not what we're doing here. We're just, we're not gonna. To me, I think early on in the Brandon Beane sort of Sean McDermott era, it was very easy to say we need to trust the process and we need to say look, he's done some, he had drafted Josh Allen, obviously in that same year we got Tremaine. There was some some really good things that built up a lot of equity for Brandon Beane early in his tenure, right? And so to me, I feel like he's been living off of that and a few other, it seems to have deteriorated for a lot of people. And I think the whole him staying, Sean McDermott getting fired also kind of rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, right? So, all to say is I just don't think he's like the Teflon Don type of like we can't criticize him like early on. It was all the criticism was McDermott, nothing on Beane. That shifted a little bit in the last couple of years, and now McDermott's gone, right? So like, who's the criticism going to be on now? It's going to be on Brandon Beane.
Yeah,
and TJ Parker in 2020.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the Packers pick is in. We'll see here if Dame has tipped it before the TV because they are in a commercial on ESPN. Are commercials the same across the country? I'm seeing a Lowe's commercial right now.
I'm not even watching. I'm not even.
Oh, not even watching. Wow.
Nope.
Brandon Cease, the corner, to the Packers.
Yep.
So that's fine. That's fine. I have him on my board just because, I don't know. Bucky Brooks is talking about him with the guys on One Bills Live. So I was like, are they hinting at something? Like, why are they talking about him? So I put him on my board because he kind of fit the mold of what a Jim Leonard corner would look like, even though where he clearly just went is too rich for my blood. I have him as my 35th ranked player, right behind TJ Parker. And I had him in my 66 overall pick bucket. So this is right around the range where I thought he would go. And but he's off the board. No pain there though. No pain in losing Brandon Cease.
No. And it does seem right now that the measurables on CJ Allen are costing him because as a football player and as a talent, like as an IQ, as a leader, as a guy that will do anything you ask him to do, and as a locker room guy, like he's got everything you want, right?
He's high cut, which is gonna hurt like so he gets swallowed up a little bit. I can almost guarantee you with CJ Allen, once he gets drafted, there's going to be talk of medicals because he struggled to get a workout in before the draft, and he looked stiff as a board when he did work out. It wasn't a great workout from the clips that I saw. But the tape don't lie. The fact that he was talking at the combine and his defensive coordinator at Georgia didn't call the plays. CJ Allen called the plays. Like literally CJ Allen. It wasn't like CJ Allen called in what the defensive coordinator wanted. CJ Allen called the plays for that Georgia Bulldogs defense. Like outside of their defensive coordinator seeing something and, headphoning it in to CJ Allen and telling him, hey, do this or this, something special. CJ Allen called that defense. Like he is whip smart. I think he's a taller Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean just got paid by the Raiders. Like not a bad player. So at this point, if the Bills took CJ Allen at pick 66, that wouldn't bug me in the least bit because I have been saying for 2 months now on this show, I thought he was a third round player. And the NFL is saying, yep, just like Nakobe Dean, he is a third round player. So that'll be really interesting. Apparently someone really likes CJ Allen because they're pulling their Cover One membership over CJ Allen. Or was it me mocking Walter Football? Anyway. So I would be a big fan of CJ Allen as we start to get closer. The receivers, Chris Brazzell, Chris Bell, Skylar Bell. I find it hard to believe we'll take a 4-eye in Grayson Halton or Caleb Proctor after we just took TJ Parker. The top nose tackle on the board is Dominique Orange. Caleb Elam-Zor would be my next linebacker after CJ Allen. AJ Halsey, if we're going safety. Like I said, I have this weird feeling, maybe nickel, Keontae Scott.
Anthony Hill Jr. is a name on my radar right now.
He's on the radar as well. I have him in the 101 bucket. I'm not as high on him as other people are. That's another one where I am lower on than consensus. Malik Muhammad is available. The Bills did a top 30 visit with him. Davison Igbonson, a press corner from Ohio State. Like there are some names left, so it'll be interesting to see like what decision the Buffalo Bills decide to go.
Yeah, I think CJ Allen, Anthony Hill Jr., those guys are standing out to me for sure. Brazel.
Pregnon. I didn't even realize he's so high up on my board. I didn't realize Pregnon's still there.
If Pregnon's still there?
That might be a medical thing. I guess we're still in the back half of the second round.
Yeah. I mean, there's some. Hey, your boy Keith Abney, talking about slot corners.
Yeah.
He's still there. Yeah. I mean, at this point, you gotta hope like there's like a little bit of an edge run, right? And there's kind of been.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you see a guy like Yakis get picked. Maybe you see a guy like Danny Dennis Sutton get picked here pretty soon.
Colts pick is in here. It is. We're getting it on TV again. I'm so over Pat McAfee, man. Yeah, I just don't.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it either. People are over us too, apparently. So
yeah, people are over us. Too, so
I guess
I guess maybe I should be more.
I don't know, man. Look, we're giving our real.
Mm-hmm.
Look, these are live knee-jerk reactions. That's what they are. We will go back, obviously, like we always do, and we will do more analysis. We always do that.
Mm-hmm.
The show, we'll have our normal show Monday night after the draft's fully over to assess the entire slate of picks, and we'll come back to this. But you're getting our knee-jerk reactions tonight. That's just what it is, and we've decided that we're willing to share those knee-jerk reactions with everybody. And look, a lot of people agree with us and a lot of people don't. And that's fine. I think that kind of shows it's a polarizing pick, right? Whether you feel like it's good or bad.
Pat McAfee is talking so long that Dame has already dropped the Eagles pick after. CJ Allen to the Colts. Okay. So CJ Allen is off the board. So since the Bills have taken TJ Parker, they have lost out on the opportunity to draft Jacob Rodriguez, Josiah Trotter, Jake Golday, and CJ Allen.
Eagles up. Here comes Emmanuel McNeil Warren. Just feels so right. It feels so right for them. Or
Pregnon.
Pregnon feels right too. That could be.
Yakis feels pretty good for them. Kyle Lewis would be such a pick for them. So someone comes in and says, didn't the Bills love Skylar Bell with the super chats? We got to get to that here real quick. Where did that go? Justin Tindall comes in and says, didn't the Bills love Skylar Bell? So per Ryan Talbot, the Bills have a lot of interest in Skylar Bell. Now I have Skylar Bell at the end of my 66 bucket. I have him just below Chris Bell. I really only added Chris Bell to my list because the Bills had a top 30 with Chris Bell. I'm not really that high on Chris Bell. So there's a couple of asterisk players in here for me. Kyle Lewis was one of them because I didn't think he'd fit the Bills scheme. For me, Chris Bell was one of my asterisk players. Like, yeah, I put him there because of consensus, but I would rather have Skylar Bell than Chris Bell. And Skylar Bell is up at pick 66. Chris Brazel, boundary only. I think he's better than people want to give him credit for in that Tennessee uniform, but the Tennessee uniform scares people. He was still pretty solid at Tulane as well before he transferred to Tennessee. I think Chris Brazel gives you that boundary verticality, but that's all Chris Brazel gives you is like boundary verticality. He doesn't really give you like inside flex. He doesn't really give you like gadget flex. He gives you no flex. It's put him on the boundary, let him go deep. He's like a Gabe Davis with speed. Like that would be like a Chris Brazel type. So Eagles pick is in. Let's see where they go. Eagles took the Eagles took a tight end. They took Eli Stowers.
Okay.
So the Eagles take Eli Stowers off the board. And then the Patriots have traded up. And the Patriots have taken Gabe Yakis off the board.
Okay. That's fine.
I would have taken Gabe Yakis over TJ Parker.
I probably would have too. I probably would have too.
I would have taken Gabe Yakis over TJ. I had Gabe Yakis as my 17th Bills specific player. I had TJ Parker as my 34th. But I will also say I had asterisks next to Zion Young, Gabe Yakis, and TJ Parker because I felt like they were too close in nature to Rousseau and Chubb, and I wanted a different flavor of edge rusher. So even though I believe in their talent, and I believe, TJ Parker was probably back half of second round, early third round, not beginning of second round type talent, and I had 4 guys who were still on the board when the Bills picked ahead of him. I believe he is a condensing type. So it's just it'll be interesting. So the Bills are now.
Yep, we got 10 picks left now in the second round. Officially, I think we are 9.
We're actually at pick 56 right now. So the TV's at 54. 56. but we're at pick 56, so we're 10 picks away.
Yeah, we're 10 picks away, and there are 9 picks left in the second round.
If you want to know what it's going to take to trade up at this point in the draft, the Patriots just sent 63, 131, and 202 to the Chargers for 55. So if the Bills are looking to trade up and snag a guy in the second round, it's probably going to be pick 66, 125, and 220.
Maybe their 7th rounder. Yeah,
maybe 220 to get up, based on what the Patriots just paid for 55. Actually, because 63 and 131, I'd say probably if the Bills were looking to trade up, 66 and 125 would probably get it done. If they have a guy sticking out on their board that they are interested in. But obviously it takes two to tango.
And honestly, if there is a guy like that, is there a guy like that you would make that deal for right now? I would do it for Emmanuel McNeil-Warren right now.
I would do it for Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. I would do it for Emmanuel Pregnon. Those, if I'm sticking to my board, and Kyle Lewis is sticking out, but again, I don't think Kyle Lewis is a fit for the Buffalo Bills. If the Bills take Kyle Lewis, hell yes. That's a fun.
I love Kyle Lewis.
It's a fun nickel, weak side linebacker. But again, I think he's an even front guy. I don't know if he's an odd front guy. So, but again, Jim Leonard, if you think you can make it work, my man, that's a good player. So I still have 3 guys in the 35th pick bucket: Pregnon, Kyle Lewis, and Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. So I would say Kyle Lewis, not exactly sure of how he would fit into the Bills defense. I'm just not smart enough to figure that one out. That's above my pay grade of football knowledge. McNeil-Warren and Pregnon would be the 2 guys that I would probably make a trade up for here. And if we hadn't taken TJ Parker, I might even risk it for a Jayshon Barham or Grayson Halton at this point. And I also love me some Skylar Bell. I would love it if we get Skylar Bell, if we have to give a little pick for him.
And I think, you just named like 5 guys that, look, there's 10, 9 picks now to go, 10 picks to go. Is there there's a decent chance one of those 5 guys maybe gets to 66. But some points you just want to go up and get the guy. Yeah. Just make like the same approach they did with when they traded for DJ Moore, right? Yes, they overpaid. Just purely by that. They made it up with the trade backs that they did yesterday and essentially got him as a quote free agent. And it kind of worked out for him. So like, wouldn't hate them trying to make a move up here for one of those 2 guys either. I would be fine.
A couple of people in the comment section are saying too, I think that they think the Bills wouldn't trade up here. They would trade to get back into the 3rd round from the 4th round. That's
I could see that
probably
as well.
Probably more accurate at this point.
And they did that when they drafted Dawson Knox, by the way. So there is at least one precedent where they did that several years ago, where they traded back into the tail end of the 3rd round to get Dawson Knox in that draft. And obviously they have 3 4th rounders and 2 5th rounders. So they certainly have the ammo if they would want to get back up into the end of the 3rd, depending on how things shake out. They could definitely do it.
So going off my Bill specific big board, let's say my next 10 guys go off in the next 10 picks. It won't happen, but say it does. Actually, let's say 5 of my next 10 guys go off the board: Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, Emmanuel Pregnon, Kyle Lewis, AJ Halsey, Chris Brazzell. That would leave Grayson Halton, Chris Bell, Keontae Scott, Skylar Bell, Jayshon Barham, Caleb Proctor, Jalen Kilgore, Caleb Elamzor, Malik Muhammad. I'm feeling Kilgore, Elamzor. Let's look at AJ Halsey had a top 30. I think he's in play. Grayson Halton had a top 30. He's in play, but that's another 4i. Chris Bell had a top 30. That was probably more for medical. I'm not a big fan. I would not be too excited about that. But others are, and understandably so. He's a good prospect. Raw, but good. You can see where the talent is there. Skylar Bell. The Bills apparently had significant interest in Skylar Bell. Dominique Orange, top 30. Caleb Elamzor, top 30. Malik Muhammad, top 30. Davison, Igabason, Brandon Bean at his pro day. Brennan Thompson, Jim Leonard recruited him twice.
Big trade just came in.
Oh boy, what happened?
Vikings sending Jonathan Grenard to the Eagles in exchange for a
Howie.
3rd-round pick and a 3rd-round pick next year. Pick 98.
Howie.
Howie getting Grenard for 2/3. One this year, one next year.
You got to pay him, I understand. Where do the Eagles find the money? And they reached an agreement on a 4-year, $100 million extension.
Mm-hmm.
Howie, buddy.
Dude, the Eagles are... And they got Mekhi Lemon yesterday. Rich get richer. I said it yesterday, too. Some guy like Howie Roseman and Les Snead. I mean, granted, there was the whole like weird situation with Sean McVay. Did you see the conspiracy theory, by the way, with Sean McVay?
Yeah.
Was that like he had to like act like he didn't want Ty Simpson because trying to like make Matthew Stafford feel better? That was the conspiracy theory.
So I've heard a number of conspiracy theories because it's also when Ty Simpson was coming out, Ty Simpson's dad and Les Snead are very close. Like they know each other quite well. Like they're friends. And Les Snead said, your son will be a 1st-round pick. He should declare. And he ends up being a 1st-round pick to Les Snead. So there's also like that aspect to it. I'd just like to think, so the rumor back in the day was that Sean McVay was dating both Britt McHenry and Diana Rossini at the same time. They found out and got into a fight outside a bar because Diana Rossini and Britt McHenry used to be on the Commander's beat when Sean McVay was there.
Yep.
So that's the rumor. So my
Jags take Nate Borkircher, the tight end, by the way. So
okay. My conspiracy theory is that Sean McVay or Ty Simpson's agent has like video of Sean McVay and Diana Rossini, and he's just, I'll drop it if you don't take him at 14 years.
Like I'll delete the evidence.
All right, before we move on to the Bills' next pick, how about this quote here, just shared on social media by Air Raid Hour favorite Ty Dunn of Go Long. Me and Ty have made amends now. For anyone who doesn't know,
that's good.
Yeah, I don't even know if
One thing I will say about you is you are willing to make amends. You are willing to make amends.
I am. I'm a very humble man. Here's what the scouts told Bob McGinn on the newest Bills edge, TJ Parker out of Clemson. So I'm going to read you this bit here from Bob McGinn's profile. He's similar to Mesidor, one scout said. He doesn't wow you in anything. His thing is more motor. He'll get stuck on an edge against athletic tackles. He keeps coming with 2nd and 3rd effort. He chases backside. Best year was 2024 when his 6 forced fumbles ranked 2nd in the nation and his 11 sacks ranked 9th. Those numbers dipped to 0 and 5 in 2025. They changed defensive coordinators and he didn't have the freedom to go rush, and it probably impacted his year, said a second scout. Parker and his fiance, former Clemson volleyball player Ozia Daly, were married in October during the team's bye week. He didn't have a great production this year, but I liked his tape, a second scout said. He's got quickness and power, plays with a lot of energy. He's physical. He's an end of the 1st round type. Arms were 33 plus inches. Hands were 9.5. Good player, a third scout said. He has enough size, length, motor, production. It's not high end at anything, just a solid package, not special. That's what my wife likes to say. Finished with 126 tackles, 41.5 for loss.
You're adequate.
21.5 sacks. That's my new favorite quote, by the way. Just a solid package, not special. 6 forced fumbles and 4 batted passes. Not explosive on the edge, said a 4th scout. Just kind of out there. He tries to play tough, but isn't athletic enough to get off his blocks and make plays. Just kind of a big effort guy. Given name is Tamarian, 4-star recruit from Phoenix City, Alabama or Alaska. I'm guessing Alabama. ALA? It's Alabama, right?
Alaska's AK.
Jay Clark comes in and says, I like small pass rushes, but the big ones. We are officially off the rails here.
You're a high motor guy. You're a high motor guy.
High motor. The effort's there consistently.
The effort is consistently there.
He sweats a lot. He must be working hard. All right.
Not going to wow you in any area.
Yeah.
But solid in all areas. I mean, what that sounds like to me is look, I'm not comparing him to Zach Allen or anything like that, right? From the Broncos, but like, Zach Allen has largely lived on, on motor, on being in the right spot at the right time. And like, again, I'm not comparing him, but like as a baseline, those are the minimum characteristics you need, right? Like that's great. And maybe they can squeeze more out of his frame and his athleticism than he got in 2025, and kind of split the difference between what was there in 2025 versus what he did in 2024, which was obviously a really special season for him. But again, what you described is sort of like the baseline, like that's the floor you minimally need, right? For a player, I think, when you're drafting him. So he's meeting those characteristics. And now, the question is how much more can you squeeze out of that, right? Is he just going to be kind of a rotational guy, a career kind of rotational type of guy, or is he going to be more than that? Like, to me, is he going to be, I'll put it to you this way, right? Second round, several years ago, we didn't have the first round pick, and we took, it was the year we got Diggs in the trade. We took AJ Epinesa, right? I think it was like the 54th pick or something like that. Obviously, this is different. It was the 35th pick. But like, if he turns out to have the same kind of career arc as an AJ Epinesa and contributes in a way similarly to what AJ Epinesa contributed to this team over the last, 4 or 5 years, is that worth that pick to you? I don't know.
No, I feel like AJ Epinesa's contribution to this team was like 4th round material, like not 2nd round material. So I think I would personally be disappointed if he puts up AJ Epinesa type production for the Bills. Let's see. The Jags took a tight end.
Bears take Logan Jones.
Take Logan Jones, the center. So no one from my Bill specific big board. So we are now to pick, and the television's on commercials. So I can't tell you. We're at what, 57 now?
The Bears just picked at 57. We are on 58, the 49ers.
58. All right. So we are 58, 59, 61. We are 9 picks away from the Buffalo Bills, or 8 players will be selected before the Buffalo Bills. So we anxiously await here for the Buffalo Bills selection. Again, I mean, Pregnon's still on the board. McNeil Warren's still on the board. AJ Halsey still on the board. Grayson Halton, Brennan Thompson, Skylar Bell, Dominique Orange, Caleb Elam-Zorn, Malik Muhammad. Like, what's the beaniest pick here?
Well, the beaniest pick would have been let me look.
Anthony Hill Jr. is I think might be the most Brandon Bean pick.
I still think Elam-Zorn would be the beaniest pick. And I would take Anthony Hill over Elam-Zorn.
I got Elam-Zorn ahead of Anthony Hill Jr. So I'd be okay with
and
that.
So that's fine. I mean, I think either would be beanie type picks. I could see either one. I feel like Elam-Zorn is more of a bean pick than
Grayson Halton to get his undersized pass rusher fix would be pretty Brandon Bean. Chris Bell.
We can almost guarantee
not a polished receiver.
I could see Skylar Bell if he gets there. I could definitely see that.
The Bills were enamored, right? So
I actually would be pretty okay with that if they took Skylar Bell there at 66 if he was there.
2. So how many receivers were taken in the first round? 4, 5, because Cooper Jr. So then 6, 7, 8. So only 8 receivers have come off the board so far. Only 8. We're towards the end of the second round here. So the Bears pick is in. We already know that. It's going to be Logan Jones on the television. The 49ers are up. And the 49ers have traded to the Browns. The Browns can take another receiver. Browns going to take another receiver. They can take another receiver.
Doing some work. They're doing some work in this draft. The Browns are kind of like, I mean, they got Boston and KC, right?
You know it would be a very Brandon Bean pick at 66?
What?
Malachi Fields. I think a couple of people said that.
God, that would be so Brandon Bean.
I'm going to take Tyrell Shavers with my 66 overall pick.
I could see AJ Halsey being a Brandon Bean type of pick. at 66.
Yeah, and I think that'd be a fun compliment with
Yep.
a guy who I think could truly be a split safety, even though he looks like a guy who's going to lay the boom, but he very much is a split safety, kind of like Cole Bishop. So you could move those two guys around a little bit, yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I could see Halsey for sure. And actually, if McNeil Warren is gone by then, I wouldn't hate Halsey either with that pick. So, Halsey feels like a Bean type pick. Elam's or definitely feels like a Bean type of pick.
Mhm.
Like those both of those guys feel like Bean type of picks. And clearly, we are still on the trend of Bean type of picks in the post Sean McDermott era from what we've seen from one pick so far. It screams Brandon Bean type of pick from the last several years. So
yeah, so I'm expecting like an undersized bat. Grayson Halton, undersized defensive lineman.
I love the comment section too, because it's like who is it? X Titan says, just find the most irritatingly average pick and you'll probably be right.
That would probably be the average pick is like I don't see like one that really sticks out to me as like Antonio Williams would piss me off, like a slot corner or your slot receiver. Like I don't hate Antonio. Oh, just go Clemson again.
It's just go all Clemson.
But did you see his 2024 tape? Emmanuel McNeil Warren to the Browns. He's off the board.
Browns, man. KC, Denzel Boston, Emmanuel McNeil Warren.
He was my number 8 player on my Bill specific big board. I remember last
Fano,
year,
right? They took Fano in the first, right? Wasn't that?
Yeah, they got Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston.
Yep. They're having a nice draft for the Browns.
Listen, last year, Andrew Makubo was your guy on day 2. Last year, Xavier Watts was my guy on day 2, and we were both correct, right? And both of us had, I think you had a first round grade on Emmanuel McNeil, not like a true first round grade, but like I would take him at.
He was in the margin of error to be a first rounder for sure.
That's where I had him too. Like I had him in my pick 26 bucket, and he goes here at 58. So kudos there to the Browns on taking.
Now I can definitely see Halsey being in play for the Bills at 66.
I got this weird feeling they're going to take the undersized 4-tech in. Houston is on the clock, and then the Titans traded up with the Bears at the pick after, and Houston's pick is in. Who's Houston going to take that's really going to tick us off? Because D'Amico Ryans likes taking really good players. They've gotten Keelan Rutledge and Caden McDonald so far, so they like taking good football players.
I don't know. They'll probably take McCoy from Tennessee, the corner, even though they don't need him.
That would be, yeah. They don't really need a corner. Yeah, you're right, but
no, they don't. Yeah,
that defense is nasty, dude. Like that defense is sick.
Marlon Klein from the Texans.
Oh, the tight end.
Yep, Marlon Klein.
Right.
Yep, Michigan tight end. Yeah,
Anthony Hill to the Titans. So Anthony Hill's off the board.
Oh, geez, that was quick.
Did they? I wonder if they were trying to jump the Bills. Like,
I mean, maybe the Bills were trying to trade up too.
So Anthony Hill Jr. So if you were a Bills fan and you're like, we need to walk out of here with a starting caliber linebacker, I think there's 2 left. Caleb Elam-Zor and Jimmy Rolder, I think, are the 2 that could start from day 1. Again, I like Kyle Lewis, and Kyle Lewis is still on the board. Again, I'm going to wholly admit that I am not a smart enough football mind to figure out what Jim Leonard would do with him in an odd front defense. Especially with the fact that we need, like, in my opinion, a traditional thumper. But again, maybe I'm thinking too concretely. I'm more than open to that. I like Jackson Kuwach, the small school guy out of Miami, Ohio. But like, I like Keyshawn Elliott. I like Keyshawn Elliott. I don't mind Deontay Lawson. I don't mind Bryce Botcher. I don't mind Red Murdoch.
Those are all late 3rd, early 4th guys to me.
Yeah, those are all day 3 guys to me. Yeah, Jimmy Rolder and Caleb Elam-Zor are the only 2 guys that I would be like, all right, cool. We used a day 2 pick on that guy. Maybe Jackson Kuwach. because I really like Kawach. I
Mm.
think Kawach might be one of those ones where it's like a couple of years from now,
like
the
Kawach
Miami Ohio inside linebacker. It's like, well, where'd that guy come from?
Mm-hmm. Now the Rams are on the clock. And after the Rams, we get the Broncos' first pick of this draft after they obviously traded for Jalen Waddle in the offseason. Draft Diamond saying Bills are 5 picks away. They better get Big Citrus. And I can tell you right now, they won't be drafting Big Citrus because that would just...
I like your reverse psychology here. I'm a big fan of the reverse
I'm trying to reverse
psychology.
jinx it. I really am. I mean, keep saying they're not going to get... That's my new plan. Just going to say guys that I like and just say there's no way they're going to get them, because then maybe there's a chance. The whole reverse jinx play.
I'm really looking forward to hate watching his press conference tonight, by the way. Brandon Beans. I'm really looking forward to him making the comment that I think he's going to make. And again, maybe I'm just full on again. I'm just going full heel tonight. Dude, I just can't even listen to that guy talk anymore. It just like makes me irrationally angry. Like the coach speak index from Brandon Bean. Like I used to like listening to him talk, and like I don't know, maybe it's because I still had like the fan goggles on from all the early success that the Buffalo Bills had before they sort of hit that wall, right? That playoff wall that got Sean McDermott fired, apparently. Every time he talks now, I just cringe. I'm just over it.
Yeah. He's lost his luster a bit. And that's kind of gets back to what I was saying kind of earlier, right? Where it's like he built up a lot of equity very quickly and very early in his tenure. And then, I don't know, to me, it just seems like it's waned and waned and waned. And it was always easy to blame Sean McDermott for everything because he was the coach on the field. He was the one on the field when the Bills were losing these heartbreakers in the playoffs. But now he's gone, right? Joe Brady, they decided was the right guy for this job. And look, I'm not trying to throw Joe Brady under the bus here, because it's like it's not his fault that they hired him as head coach, right? But Brandon Bean has been the guy that's been here for years in the same job, right? So, yes, and people are going to look at picks like Christian Benford and James Cook and say, like, yes, these were really good picks. But his track record on drafting defensive linemen and his track record, generally speaking, early in drafts has not been great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Kincaid had that great second year. We'll see. Elam, bust.
Yeah.
Rousseau, solid player. Star, I don't think so, right? Max Hairston, too early to say. I'm not going to judge Max Hairston yet. But outside of Josh Allen, like who has he really hit on in the first round? Like, yes, he traded for Diggs. I get that. But like pick wise, it's been kind of tough. And like, I know people are getting on us. Yeah, we're
it's okay.
We're trying here, folks. We're trying. I think we're just a little anxious for this next pick.
Pops Mafia said, is Chris Bell on your board? So the Bills are up in a couple of picks here, a handful of picks away here. So let me sort of update you on my personal big board. Again, this is my personal big board. Emmanuel Pregnon is the number one player left on my personal big board. The second player left on my personal big board is Kyle Lewis. But again, there's an asterisk next to him because I just don't know his fit. AJ Halsey would be the third player. Chris Brazzell, the fourth. Grayson Halton, the fifth. Chris Bell, the sixth. Keontae Scott, the seventh. TJ Parker had my list after Keontae Scott. Skylar Bell, the eighth. Jayshon Barham, the ninth. Caleb Proctor, the 10th. Jalen Kilgore, the 11th. Caleb Leland-Zor, the 12th. Malik Muhammad, the 13th. And so on. And I got to cross Anthony Hill Jr. out. I forgot to cross Anthony Hill Jr. out here. So Dominique Orange falls just a little bit below Elam Zor. So I have him as 45th on my board, my personal board. But obviously a ton of names have come off. So he's much higher than 45 now. All right. So we are getting closer here. The Titans pick has just been announced on the television. There's a tight end run. The Rams, I think you said the Rams took Max. Did you say the Rams took Max Clare. So we have Marlon Klein to the Texans. Max, dude, the tight ends for the Rams these last couple of years, man. Wow. And then the Broncos are now on the clock. I think the Broncos This is a team where Jim Leonard just came from.
Mm.
This is a team that has probably some holes that they want to fill on both sides of the ball. If they choose to go defense here, it's likely a player that Jim Leonard is pounding the table for in Buffalo, coming off the board.
AJ Halsey could be a pick, could be a guy to
Yeah.
replace PJ Locke on this Broncos defense, right? I mean, that could be a guy I could see the Broncos being interested in for sure.
All right. So the Titans pick is live on television. Then we have the Broncos and the Chargers. And we are about 6 picks away from the Buffalo Bills. So 6 prospects will come off the board between now and the Buffalo Bills next pick. And the Broncos are the ones standing in our way right now. And then, of course, the LA Chargers. So
well, should be only 4, right? It should be the Broncos.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I
Seahawks.
was thinking 68. Yeah, you're correct. 4. All right. So, Dave, 4 picks away. Where's your mind at right now?
My mind right now is kind of zeroing in on Big Citrus or AJ Halsey. Those are the 2 names kind of standing out for me. Skylar Bell also, I think, is on that list for me. So I think those 3 guys, all different positions, those would be kind of my short list right now, those 3 guys.
Yeah. I'm starting to get a weird feeling about Chris Bell. Just another situation, right, where it's like, well, he was sticking out on our board. If he didn't tear his ACL, he would have gone in the first round. And I'm getting a weird feeling about Chris Bell.
I wouldn't hate that pick though. Personally, I would prefer Skylar Bell, but I would be okay with Chris Bell.
I'm shocker. I wouldn't be a fan of the pick.
I'd be okay with it. I'd be okay with it.
I just don't think he's much of a receiver. I think he's a really good athlete. I don't really think much of him as a polished, nuanced wide receiver. And
yeah, that's fair.
I don't have faith in this coaching staff.
Bills are on the clock. They traded with Denver.
The Bills have traded with Denver. I wonder why. I wonder if maybe they had an idea of who the Denver with Pete Carmichael and Jim Leonard coming.
Why would Denver trade with the Bills if they were going to go after the same player, right?
Bills trade 66 and 182. So pick for 62. So the Bills no longer have.
That's fine.
Their 6th round pick.
No problem. No problem. Move up 4 spots. Okay. Well, let's see.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Bills have just made our job easier for us, right? The Bills have just made our job easier for us. They are about to pick here in the coming minutes. They are actually on the clock on ESPN, right? So kudos to ESPN for being up to date on their picks. And I think they're about to. No, they're not about to go to commercial. They are sticking with it here. All right, Dave. Final prediction and chat. Throw up your final prediction here as well.
My final prediction.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna say Grace. I'm gonna say AJ Halsey.
I was gonna say AJ Halsey as well, but because you did, I'll say Chris Bell as my prediction pick. I would want AJ Halsey or Big Citrus or Skylar Bell, but like AJ Halsey and Big Citrus would be the top 2 names for me personally that I would want at this spot. Yeah,
Pregnon is interesting. Like, so
yeah,
if we are following my board, like if I was following my board, Pregnon would be the pick.
And I would actually be good with that. I mean,
he's the number 1 player on my board at 14. He's the 14th on my Bills specific board. So
I have him rated as my 48th overall prospect.
Mm-hmm.
So, for pick 62, I feel like that's pretty good value. I like Pregnon a lot. I actually probably maybe even higher on him than some, but it would not disappoint me to take him here because Edwards is gone. Yes, they signed Corbett. We've got maybe Alec. Like we have guys that could fill that starting left guard spot. But man, if you bring in Pregnon, then you're giving yourself a little bit of cushion too if you can't somehow bring Torrance back, the following year, and that offensive line starts to look really good left to right, in my opinion. So I'm never mad about a pick like that type of pick.
The pick is in, and Bills fans, It is a guy that I have been talking about, right? The Brandon Beane was at their pro day. The Buffalo Bills have gone boundary cornerback.
Wow.
Davison Igbinison out of the University of Ohio State. So the Bills go boundary corner with pick number 66, a guy who will likely be a backup, a guy who will likely only come into the game if Maxwell Hairston or Christian Benford get injured. The Buffalo Bills select Ohio State boundary corner Davison Igbinison. I had him in my 101 bucket in the next round or for our next pick. And I have him as my 48th overall player on my Bills specific big board. So he was on my Bills specific big board, knowing that Brandon Beane was at Ohio State's pro day. Dave, thoughts on the Bills taking a boundary cornerback with the 66 overall pick?
I will say, like, I did think this was a need for them going into the draft. I think they needed a third boundary cornerback with the uncertainty around, like, yes, definite need. In the late second, I'm not sure it was that pressing of a need, but look, after what happened in the playoff game last year, where you had to have Dane Jackson come in the game, you had, situation where you lost guys, to waivers, and there was the whole controversy around that, with Jamarcus Ingram. Like, you're talking about a guy that certainly has the size and that you're looking for, at the boundary at 6'2". Decent athletic testing, 4.45 40, 10 foot broad. He's willing to help them run. He's got long arms. But this guy needs some coaching, right? He had 30 penalties in his career, which is insane. Like, that's crazy to me. 30 career penalties. But when you read his scouting report, it says can delay press release with heavy hands, chokes off landing space on go balls down the sideline.
He's a press corner.
When he's in, like he is the stylistic corner that a guy like Jim Leonard would want. Is it a little too early for me in the sense of, like, there were other more pressing needs other than boundary corner? Probably. But I like this pick more than I like the last pick. I'll say that. I like this pick more than I like the last pick. I think, especially given how the season played out at corner with the Bills last year and Hairston being injured, and they're really thin with the Dorian Strong situation very much up in the air and not expecting him to play. I think that should be the expectation. I'm not saying he isn't going to, but, like, the expectation should be that he is not going to play. I think that I do like this pick more than the last pick, I would say.
Yeah, like, if you take positional need out of it, it's not the worst pick in the world at this part of the draft. I think it's justifiable. I had him one round later, but to each their own at this point in the draft. I do want to weigh positional needs a little bit. I do not think Davison Igbinison is better than Malik Muhammad, who I had in the same bucket at 101. I think Malik Muhammad is a better corner. I do not think he's better than AJ Halsey, who's a safety. I do not think he's better than Jalen Kilgore, who is a safety. I do not think he's better than Grayson Halton and Caleb Proctor, who are four eyes. I do not think he is better than Skylar Bell, Chris Brazel, or Chris Bell, who are wide receivers. If I go to my actual big board, I had Jennings Dunker ahead of him, Zakee Wheatley ahead of him. I had Dominique Orange ahead of him. I had Brennan Thompson ahead of him. I had Caleb Elamzor ahead of him. I had, as I mentioned, Skylar Bell, Chris Brazel, AJ Halsey, Kyle Lewis, and Emmanuel Pregnon. So again, this is another player where the Bills have decently, significantly veered off of my personal value chart. Looking at Igbinison's measurables here on Mock Draftable, 6'2", that's 95th percentile. You're looking for that long, lanky corner, press man, right? 189 pounds, that's 35th percentile, so he's skinnier. 32-inch arms, 91st percentile, that's exciting. Hand size 9 1/8, that's 48th percentile. His 10-yard split, not great. 158, that's 33rd percentile. His 40-yard dash, 445, that's 63rd percentile. So this is a long speed kind of guy, not a quick twitch kind of guy. And his broad jump of 120 is 33rd percentile. So again, not this like quick, explosive, bursty guy, but he's got that long speed to follow guys down the field. When you look at it, he started his career at Mississippi, played 13 games with 10 starts. He was honorable mention All Big Ten in 2023, honorable mention All Big Ten in 2024, second team All Big Ten in 2025. So this is a guy who has sort of been around. And when you look at it, like big frame, long arms, right? He's a press guy. He's a heavy hand guy. Somebody says in the comments section, he's a gunner. I didn't know that. I haven't looked at any scouting stuff that has him as a special teamer. But yeah, he's the kind of guy who can come in and gun on special teams. He can be your boundary CB3. There are things that you need to clean up, right? Like the penalties. It's hip fluidity, right, is something that's being questioned in a number of the scouting reports that I'm looking at here. Reaches and grabs. So still waiting for him to turn and find the football in flight. Bills fans love guys who don't turn their heads. So there is some issues to his game that goes along with his ability. Like apparently he's good against the run. It says, good against the run, press hands, the Lands Airline says chokes off landing space on go balls on the sideline. So again, if you're looking for what is this guy going to do for the Bills in 2025, he is your boundary CB3 and probably your gunner on special teams. If somebody gets hurt, he's probably your first guy off the bench. But where is his ability to start? Do you not believe in Christian Benford? Do you not believe in Maxwell Hairston? Are you already at the point in this draft where you are simply trying to draft your top backup? That's how little you think of this draft, that you're okay drafting your top backup. I don't get it. There were guys on the board that could have started for you. Skylar Bell could have been your boundary receiver too from day one. AJ Halsey could have been your starting safety next year. And you probably could have put Halsey, Bishop, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson on the field at the same time if you were being creative. Dominique Orange could have been your first and second down run defender from day one. Emmanuel Pregnon could have been your starting left guard from day one. Like Swim U71 says, we don't know about Maxwell Hairston. Let's be honest. Yeah, but guess what? I'm a little bit more excited for Maxwell Hairston, new coaching staff or not. The guy who was projected to be a late first, early second round draft pick all throughout the process last year. Then a guy that we took at the beginning of the end. Was this still the second round?
Yeah. Yep.
The end of the second round that was projected to be a third or a fourth round pick. It's just
Chargers took Jake Slaughter, by the way, the center.
Yeah. Someone says Judge sounds defeated. Like, we put in the work, right? And we feel like we create these pretty reasonable boards and we analyze the Bills and we analyze what we think they need and the prospects we think will fit and fill a role. And it is a little like our guy Bruce Nolan always says, expectations minus reality equal disappointment. Right. So these drafts are becoming
Bud Clark
insanely. Bud Clark is gone
to the Seahawks. Yeah.
Of course he is. And of course they take the ball hawker. Brandon Beane just continues to crush my little draft dreams. Right. Like we're clearly just,
and we're officially
not on the same page as the general manager of our football team. I think a vast majority of fans in the Bills Mafia community are just not on the same page as our GM. I think McKee999 says it best. We're fans, but not stupid.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing.
We're not idiots. We're not idiots.
I love that comment because yeah, we're not GMs. We're not scouts. We have our own process. Like I said, we're not stupid. We've done this for, what is this going on 7-8 years now? We rely on a lot of other people as well as inputs into our process. So it's not just us in a vacuum, right? We take into consideration things like the film analysis from Eric and Anthony and others, right? Joe Marino, etc. We take into account what we see ourselves, right? We take into account what the analytics say. We take into account a lot of factors and a lot of inputs. It's not just one thing or another, or just our singular opinion in a vacuum, right? It is a lot of things we take into account, and we're not dumb, and all of you are not dumb either, right? Like you're seeing what's going on, right? We are not dumb, like none of you are dumb either. So it's like I'll put it this way. I can understand the eternal optimists who want to believe this is like all of this is going to work out for the best. And I would never disparage someone for having that mindset, because that's a great mindset to have. And I can also understand the people who are like, what the hell is going on? What is the direction that we're taking with this team and these picks? I think, like I said, that was a need, but I also don't know I don't know that you needed to do that right there, right? I guess is what I'm saying. When you had a big citrus on the board, when you had an AJ Halsey on the board, when you had a Skylar Bell on the board, right? So look, I'm fine if people want to be upset as well. It's like, I think you're going to see, as we usually do see in Bills Mafia, really both ends of the spectrum, right? Both ends of the spectrum here. So whatever end of the spectrum you are on, or maybe you're in the middle, I probably am leaning more towards kind of the pessimistic side. Yes, for sure. Right now, that's where I'm leaning. But again, these are reactionary type things we're doing right now, and the full picture hasn't been put together yet. So we'll see, right? I still may end up being really critical of this when it's all said and done. And I could also be proven wrong, right? We could also be proven wrong. These guys could turn out to be awesome, and we just don't know, right? We just don't know. So certainly not the guys that I would have taken, but I'm not the GM, right? So I would also say that probably for most people, these are not the guys they would have taken either. And I think that's pretty fair to say as well.
It's just, it's frustrating to me. Like, what this says to me, it's going to be really interesting to hear his comments after this is all said and done, right? Like, somebody says your board, screw your board. Yeah, I mean, look at every single consensus board. Every single consensus board agrees that Igbenison was a reach here. He thinks so little of this draft that he decided to draft a guy who's ceiling minus injuries.
For the Cardinals there. First pick of the third round, Carson Beck to the Cardinals. Now the Broncos are up with our pick that we just traded them.
Yeah. And they'll probably take a player that I would have taken with the pick we took.
AJ Halsey. That'd be hilarious. Not really, but it would be kind of. All right, Cardinals.
Like, it's just Brandon Beane thinks so little of this draft that he is taking a guy who's ceiling, barring an injury to one of our starters, his top backup. Like, I understand. Oh, he's the best player on our board. Okay. There wasn't anyone within the margin of error. There wasn't anyone within the margin of error. No player within the margin of error that could have gotten onto the football field, not barring injury. You mean to tell me Dominique Orange was not close to Davison Igbenison on your board? You mean to tell me AJ Halsey was not close to Davison Igbenison on your board? You mean to tell me Skylar Bell was not close to Davidson Igbenison on your board? You really are going to sit up there in your press conference and tell me he was head and shoulders above all of those dudes on your board? That's a crazy process. If that is your takeaway, a guy who had 30 penalties in his career. It's nuts.
I guess we should. Yes, his name is Davison, not Davidson. Yes. So excuse us, Davison. Man, I'll tell you what. Kenny Powers Truth Bombs really hates us. Oh man. But this is a good comment here. Super Flynn 23. This is proof that Sean had nothing to do with the draft. We drafted AJ Manson's backup. I wanted. Look, yeah, you can't blame it on anyone else now. Don't try to throw. I mean, he's going to try to throw Jim Leonard on the bus. Like at this point, like there's no way that you can do that, right? I mean, I would imagine. So anyway, let's see what the Denver Broncos do with this pick that we just traded them. Should be interesting. Tyler O'Needham.
I would have taken him over Davison and Benison. I would have taken him. He is a really good 5-tech, 4-eye, odd front end who could kick inside and be a 3-tech. One of the more underrated players in this draft. Like going to help your team stop the run. That's a better player than the guy we took. Who would have gotten on the field more than the guy we took, barring injury? I don't understand right now.
Yeah. Now, I guess we'll see if the Bills decide now. I mean, what was it? They gave up was it a 6th rounder in that trade to move up with the Broncos? Or was it a 5th rounder? Let me take a look at the picks. Looks like they gave up a 6th. They still, according to the ESPN, have all their 4ths and both 5ths. So they still have ammo if they want to move back up into the 3rd. They have 3 4ths and 2 5ths and a 7th. So they do have ammo if they do want to move back up and take somebody here. So MK9999 says the Bills have not gotten better. No, we don't. We do not have we do not have a 3rd round pick. We have the 1st pick in the 4th round. So no, we had 2 picks technically in the 2nd round. We traded up and got back into the end of the 2nd round there. So we had 2 picks in the 2nd round. We do not have a 3rd round pick. We have the very first pick, which, as Bills Are Electric says, is 101. It's the very first pick in the 4th round. And they have 3 picks in the 4th round. So again, assuming no other trades tonight, the Bills are done for the night unless they use some of those picks to move back up into the 3rd at some point the rest of tonight. So as it stands, they will have 5 picks tomorrow within the first, first 60 something picks tomorrow. They will have 5 picks. And again, we'll see if they use any of that ammo to try to trade back up into the 3rd tonight. So
I'm really interested to see this press conference and how he justifies these picks, because this is crazy. Like the first one I can wrap my head around. Like I'm struggling to wrap my head around this one. Like if it was Malik Muhammad, maybe I could like wrap my head around it, but because I think he's a better corner than Davison and Benison, but like, and they traded up too. It's not even like they sat and waited to see if he was there.
Right.
Like, and McKee 999 comes in and says, "Press better, press him." Yes, like there better be some contentious exchanges in that room. It better not be, "Thanks for your answer, Brandon. I appreciate it." Like there better be some pushback. Like, hey, can you tell me why you thought a player with 30 penalties in college was an appropriate pick there? Can you explain to me why you took a player at this pick, a pick you actually traded another asset for to move up, whose ceiling when healthy is backup? Like, again, Kenny Powers Truth Bombs comes in. "Thank you for your monetary donation." Says, "Bro, who are you? Brandon Bean is smarter than you. The fans don't know anything. Most fan chat in this chat are dumb." What is Brandon Bean accomplished?
I disagree that most.
What is Brandon Bean accomplished? I disagree with that statement wholeheartedly. I think a lot of people are very keenly aware of what this Buffalo Bills team needs and how they can get better. And I think very few of them feel the Bills got better today or are getting better. We said at the top of the show after the TJ Parker pick, if we are wrong, hell yeah, we're wrong. But like, what's his answer going to be? We took Maxwell Hairston because Sean McDermott wanted us to, and now we're going to throw him under the bus.
Raiders take a guy that Anthony Prohaska was a big fan of in Kieran Crawford, and I know we were as well, and the Raiders take him here. So that's an edge player off the board.
Eagles are up. What are they going to do? Probably take Emmanuel Pregnon.
Probably.
Unless he at this point, I feel like he's got some medicals.
I mean,
probably take AJ Halsey.
Yeah. I mean, look, I will say this, like, to try to just separate some of the comment there is I don't think fans in this chat are dumb. I think most fans that we interact with on a regular basis in the Air Raid Hour comments are pretty knowledgeable. Most people, and a lot of them are regulars that come in and they have very smart opinions. A lot of these people also do excellent draft work in their own right. And just because they don't like publicly have like on a podcast or whatever, they're very smart. RJ, Pops Mafia, Bills Are Electric. Like, these are all guys that have been in this chat for years with us. Like, they know their stuff. So I would disagree that most fans in this chat are dumb. And number two, like, yes, Brandon Beane, is he smarter than us? I'm not going to say he is. Like, I can't, like in what regard? Like, yes, he's the GM of the team. But can you tell me that he's batting 1,000? No GM does. I'm not expecting that. But like, he's batting pretty low percentage the last couple years, right? And now there's no one else to blame. So people always want to go back and say, look, he drafted James Cook. He got Christian Benford in the 6th round, blah, blah, blah. He drafted Josh Allen, almost 10 years ago. Like, okay, great. Like, he's had good moments. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad GM.
When you've been there long enough, you will have good moments. But
yes.
We got War is Bad, okay, coming in saying, I should have said that in the South Park, was War is Bad, okay. Are these two guys worth more than Jalen Waddle? If your answer is no, I don't know how you justify trading out of the first. And even to go on top of that too, like, we're not even picking up 2027 assets when the draft is supposedly better than this one. But again, like our guy Bruce Nolan has the quote all the time: expectations minus reality equals disappointment. And there are plenty of you fans in the chat here who want to just you want to be patient and you want to see it play out and you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, and that is fine. But I'm sick and tired of doing these live shows and just trying to justify something that I don't believe in. Like, I sat up here after the Kyrie Elam pick and I was like, The Notebook.
Markel Bell for the Eagles.
That's a good pick for them. I remember the Eagles were saying when they took Lane Johnson years ago, was Lane Johnson was he the best tackle in his draft class that day he was drafted?
Oh my God, this guy's a monster. 6'9",
yes,
87-inch wingspan. Oh Lord. Wow.
Yeah, and like I said, when they drafted Lane Johnson, I think it was Jeff Stoutland, their offensive line coach, or somebody of that nature in the Eagles building was like, Lane Johnson, like, is not the best tackle in this draft class today, but he will be the best tackle in this draft class 3 years from now. Very much that kind of vibe with a guy like Markel Bell and those raw physical traits. I felt that the Bills made that same move when they drafted Spencer Brown in the 3rd round. Maybe he's not the best right tackle now, but 3 years from now, and sure enough, we saw the proof in the pudding. That's one of the better Brandon Beane draft picks in Spencer Brown. But again, if you're looking for the positives, he's a press man corner. He gives us depth at the position where we are often injured. We saw in the playoffs what happened when Dane Jackson has to play. He was coached by Matt Patricia this past year. He has played in some big time games and some big time moments. So all the physical tools are there. So to me, again, if you're looking for the positives, those are the positives. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like there aren't positives to the pick. I'm not going to say it was like an outlandish reach. He was within the vicinity of my board, right? My personal board here. He was in the vicinity of pick 66 or 64, 63. Is that where he ended up getting drafted? What did we trade up to? 60. What did we trade up to?
62, I believe.
62, right? Like
62, I believe.
He was 48 on my Bill specific big board. But again, there's no quarterbacks. There's no running backs. There's no tight ends. There's no pure offensive tackles. Like there was a lot of positions I left out of my Bill specific big board because I didn't think the Bills were going to approach those positions. But I thought highly enough of him to put him on this board because I thought he fit the mold of what the Buffalo Bills were going to be looking for. I had one cornerback boundary specific over him, Malik Muhammad, that was still left on the board. Brandon Cease was gone. Avian Terrell was gone. D'Angelo Pons was gone. Those are the other three I had ahead of him with Malik Muhammad. But I had Julian Neal after him, Dylan Everett after him, Devin Moore after him, Charles Demings, my guy from our My Guy show, our No Matter What show, Andre Fuller. I would have taken any of those guys in round 4 or 5 over this guy in round 2. Like, oh, you can find your nose tackle in any round. I can argue you can find a corner as good as Davison Igbinison in the 4th or the 5th round with any of those guys I just listed. Frustrating.
Sam Roush for the Bears. What's the latest pick?
Not on my Bill specific. So Kieron Crawford and Tyler O'Needham are the two guys that have come off my Bill specific draft board.
Bit of a tight end run happening here in the last.
Yeah, a lot of tight ends are going in the beginning of this draft here. How many picks are left in the 3rd round here?
I mean, 3rd round just started. We got that was only the 5th pick of the 3rd round. So we are on right now. The Bears are up on their pick. I'm sorry, the Bears just picked at pick 69. 49ers are picking right now, pick 70, and the 3rd round goes to pick 100. So we've got 30 picks left here in the 3rd round with the conference.
So playing the prediction bingo, right? Playing the prediction bingo. When Brandon Beane steps up to the podium for TJ Parker, he will talk about his 2024 accolades and how he would have been a top 15 pick.
Yep.
And I can almost guarantee you for Igbinison, he will mention the rash of injuries they had at the cornerback position over the years and how it cost them in the Broncos game.
Yes, they will mention that. And for Igbinison, they will also mention his size and that they feel like they have the coaching staff to
mold him
and clean up the penalty.
They will probably mention that he got coached up by Matt Patricia at Ohio State. So he's already got the NFL mindset.
Yep. But certainly on the TJ Parker one, like you're spot on with that. Like he will for sure mention the 2024 tape. No doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt about it. Because didn't he do something similar with Rousseau? I think he did, right?
Yeah, Rousseau, Kyrie Elam, he mentioned it with Kyrie Elam. Deion Walker, he mentioned it with Deion Walker. That's the one time he was right, but that's the 4th round he did that.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So, any picks come off the board since we last
Sam Roush, tight end for the Bears, came out. The 49ers are on the clock right now with pick 70. I already mentioned that the Eagles had taken Markel Bell, the massive tackle from Miami, and then the pick before that was Kieron Crawford to the Raiders, the edge player from Auburn. So now the Niners on the clock. We'll see. They're always a little bit of a wild card, but they generally go for guys that fit what they want to do. So wouldn't be surprised if the Niners took someone that was like not super, super high left on the consensus board, but was someone that was like, hey, fits what we want to do.
My best player is still available, Manuel Pregnon. I'm waiting for him to come. At this point, I think it's got to be medicals for him, right?
I would imagine.
Just things we don't know about. Kyle Lewis, again, I don't understand what his fit would be in Buffalo. Let's go. Tell me a position of need, and I'll walk you through who's still left. What position you want to talk about first?
I think linebacker, off-ball linebacker is a need.
Okay,
so nose tackle is a need. Let's go off-ball linebacker.
All right, so stack linebacker, off-ball linebacker. Obviously, Kyle Lewis. Don't understand like how the Bills would fit him in, but he's a fit. Caleb Ealons-Orr is my number one stack linebacker left. Jimmy Rolder would be number 2.
Yep.
And then, in my opinion, there's a steep cliff to some of the next guys. Jack Kelly is my next linebacker, but I think he's more of a Sam. I've said like Caden Ellis vibes where you can stack him, but you also want him rushing the passer. And there are questions about his ability to play the run. Jackson Kawach, who I think is an insane athlete. His testing
Romello Height for the Niners, by the way.
Okay, pass rusher off the board. I wasn't so high on him just because very niche player, niche, however you want to say it. Pass rush only with him, a little smaller in stature, but I still had him on my board in the 125, 126 bucket. So right in that range. Jackson Kawach out of Miami, Ohio. I low-key think like there could be something there with him. Keyshawn Elliott, who we've talked about at length on this show. Deontay Lawson, who needs to add some weight. Bryce Botcher, who to me is more like a special teams stopgap linebacker, like a guy you play at linebacker for 3 or 4 games, but you don't want him starting a whole season, and he's just a menace on special teams. That's what I think Bryce Botcher is. Harold Perkins, who's more of a star than a stack. Kendall Daniels, who Jay Valet knows pretty well, former safety, moved to linebacker. Instinctually, he's still picking up the game, but athletically, he's pretty exciting. I'm getting into my 6th round now, by the way. Red Murdoch out of the University of Buffalo. Stiff hips. You don't want him in coverage.
Brandon Bean is at the podium, according to the Bills app.
So he is no longer – he's not picking again tonight.
I mean, you wouldn't think if he's at the podium.
So the Bills so Brandon Bean is at the podium. Do we have confirmation on that?
I mean, I just got the notification from the Bills app, like the official Bills app, that he's at the podium. So
let me go to the Bills official Twitter. Yep, he is talking to the media. We are live with Brandon Bean. So it appears the Bills are probably done for tonight. So let's see. Maybe I'll go to Sale. Sale does a really good job of updating on the fly here as Brandon Bean speaks. Yeah. Brandon Bean speaking. Thread didn't have a heavy number of first-round grades once they saw that their last first-round graded player come off, which was probably Casey Concepcion. We are more aggressive in making calls. So there was a chance to maybe go from 26 into the 2nd round, but elected to take the trade to 28 and ultimately added more by making multiple trades. One of the strengths of this draft being on the edge rushers. And that's all he's got so far. It's 41 seconds ago, and he's updating as he goes here. So we'll get more. And if you guys want to share some of Bean's comments in the comment section, we would really appreciate that. But back to the linebacker talk. Red Murdoch, stiff in the hips. I don't know if you want him in coverage, but he's a menace at the line of scrimmage, and I assume those 16 career forced fumbles that he had would carry over to special teams as well. You got the ball of clay and Jaden Duggar that I really like. And then you're getting to some real niche guys, Aiden Fisher, Lander Barton, Nnamdi Obiazor out of TCU. So
Commanders take Antonio Williams, the receiver from Clemson.
All right. So to me, I put him on my board because the Bills
take him.
Yeah, the Bills met with him, so I put him on my board. He's a slot only to me. I had him in the 101 bucket with Brennan Thompson. So not a bad player. It's just like, yeah, no thanks. We don't really need that skill set. But I put him on my board simply for that reason. As I update my board here, Romello Height is off there as well.
Angles now on the clock.
So I'm just looking for any updates from Sale here. He hasn't updated since one of the strengths of this draft was edge rusher. Let's see if Joe B.
Lance Lasowski says Bills GM Brandon Bean says TJ Parker was the top rusher on their board after day one. Called him an every down player as opposed to a designated pass rusher. Well, how shocker of the century there hearing that. So
all right, so we'll get more updates from Brandon Bean as we go. What is the next position group we want to talk about here?
I mean, I for the sake of just the fact that we've been talking about wanting it, let's go with the nose tackles.
All right. So purely from a nose tackle perspective, there's some names here. Dominique Orange, still on the board, Big Citrus.
Yep.
Daryl Jackson Jr., frame for days with those 35-inch arms. Chris McClellan, who's got a little 5-tech nose tackle flex. Nick Barrett, who I really like out of South Carolina. Brandon Cleveland is on the smaller, and Albert Regis are on the smaller side from a length perspective, but they're run pluggers. Now I'm getting into my late day 3 here. David Gusta, who a lot of people say is better off as a 3-tech than a nose. He's an undersized nose, but he played it well at Kentucky. Tim Keenan III, who I know you're high on. I'm not the biggest fan in the world, but he's a 2-down player who can help you stop the run. Same with Dante Corleone, not going to give you much as a pass rusher. Bobby Jamison Travis, and that's my list of nose tackles. Maybe Dominic Williams, the Oklahoma guy. Jay Valet knows him as well, but I have him as a PFA grade. So that's where we're at with nose tackles. What's the next position we want to talk about here?
How about safeties?
AJ Halsey, still on the board. Jalen Kilgore, still on the board. Zakee Wheatley. Your guy, one of your guys, Kamari Ramsey.
Yeah.
Genesis Smith. Jacoby Thomas. You got the athleticism and the athletic upside of a VJ Payne. Jalen Husky, Michael Taffy, Dalton Johnson, Robert Spears Jennings, Bishop Fitzgerald. I liked the safety class. Xavier Nwampa, Miles Scott. So there's still some safeties left. Wide receiver. We want to get to wide receiver here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Chris Brazzell, Chris Bell, Skylar Bell, Brennan Thompson, Bryce Lance, Malachi Fields, Malik Benson, Zachariah Branch, Deion Burks. I feel a little vindicated with them. They're falling. Jacoby Lane, Eric Rivers, Cyrus Allen. That's about it for me. Call it a day for me. At that point, we're talking late round guys now. Caden Weegan, return specialist. Savion Thomas, return specialist. Barian Brown, return specialist. Jeff Caldwell, throwing a dart. Yeah. Offensive line. Heck, at this rate, that's probably who we're going to take next.
Love this comment. Nice of you to read off the guy's bean won't pick.
Offensive line.
Mafia says, good question from Sal. I would like to know what that question was, if you don't mind putting it in there. Love to know what that was, whatever the question was.
Bills GM Brandon Bean on second round pick, Davison Igbenison. Corner is a premium position. You can't have enough of them. Bean alludes to cornerback depth, usually getting tested via injuries throughout the season and wanting to have quality depth to sustain that. So we got that.
Well, that's not a surprise.
Say the Denver game without saying the Denver game.
Yeah.
Mention the uncertainty of Dorian Strong's status. He improved in college dramatically, which someone in the comment section said. He only had 4 penalties last year, Dave. Only 4.
It's a big improvement
for his career.
Big improvement. Big improvement.
I'll
take it. I appreciate the comment section coming in with the look. And one thing I will say, I do appreciate the yin and the yang that we're having right now with the comment section in a way, because they are a lot of people in there are trying to keep the lights on, keep things positive. So I do appreciate that, right? And I know we've been called some things tonight, but I appreciate you all who are trying to kind of stay the course here.
Yeah, Thad Brown tweets, Kyrie Elam used to wear boxing gloves in practice to teach him not to grab and commit penalties. New Bills quarterback Davison Igbenison did the same in college. He had 30 penalties in 53 games, but the trick might have worked. His flags went from 12 in 2024 to only 4 last year. So a third of the penalties he committed in 2024, he committed in 2025. Good for him, man.
Bengals take Takario Davis.
All right, that's another corner. I had him a little further down my board. I wasn't as high on him as others. I had him in the 167, 168 bucket, and I had him as my
nice wingspan for that guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's a really big player. Don't get me wrong. Tacario Davis. I had him as my 94th on my Bill specific board. Anthony Prohaska said, when watching Ohio State, Davison and Binghamton flashed a bunch for me, fitting the run. Again, that apparently that's not just a Sean McDermott thing. Corners who can fit the run. And that was definitely a selling point in a number of scouting reports that I read on Davison and Binghamton. That's not to say he's not a good coverage player, but he's very willing physical player in a multitude of ways, good and bad.
Another tight end off the board, Oscar Delp from Georgia goes.
That's a good player right there. That might be a steal.
Saints take him. And the Giants have traded up and are now on the clock after trading up with the Browns. So the Giants are on the clock now.
Brandon Bean on Benison. If you look at our penciled starters, Benford and Hairston, he has a different skill set. Specifically mentioned his press coverage ability. Trey White is a free agent, and Dorian Strong's future is uncertain.
Yes. Dynamite analysis there. Yeah, I mean, look, I get it. We needed a boundary corner. I just felt like to what you said earlier, right? It's like at some point in the season, are we going to be happy that we have this guy? Probably, right? Yeah, probably we will be. But what was the trade-off for that? So Bean noting that the defensive staff recruited several of these players. Oh, he's already passing the buck. He's already passing the buck.
Oh, I didn't pick this guy. Our assistant offense, our assistant defensive.
I'm only
line
the GM.
Coach, the towel guy went to college at Clemson. Spoke very highly of TJ.
I'm not the GM.
So
Giants select Malachi Fields.
There you go. Taking him off the board there. I had Malachi Fields in my bucket in the 125, 126 pick range. And he was 61st on my Bills specific draft board. To me, very much Tyrell Shavers-esque type of player, in my opinion.
Yeah. Don't tell Pat Moran. He'll get upset with you. All right. Dolphins on the clock. So let's see what they do. Starting to get the picks a little more frequently here.
Mm-hmm.
We are now at pick 75, excuse me. Draft goes to pick 100 tonight. So we got 25 more picks here in the third round. And you would think the Bills are done for the night if Brandon Bean is having this press conference. So
yeah, I don't know if he said it.
Yeah, usually he will come out and say hey, we're done for the night, but I wonder if he actually said that.
Mm-hmm.
You would think he wouldn't have a press conference and then make another pick later and then have to have another press conference. I wouldn't think. I don't know. We'll see. Tydoon, long, linear, his pedals smooth, and he's effective against the run when he needs to be. He's instinctive in managed coverage, which is hard to find these days, especially for a longer corner. He'll be like Christian Gonzalez. I don't know about that. I don't know about that's what Bob McGinn said about. I don't know about that, but hey,
calling Maxwell Harrison a penciled-in starter is never a good sign when you used the first round pick on him last year. Could Maxwell Harrison be on the trade?
Well, that's even more of a. I mean,
no, that was Sean McDermott's draft pick, not Brandon Bean's draft.
I would rather
watch your mouth.
God.
You watch your tone.
He needs to be penciled in. He needs to be in pen, is what he needs to be. Man. Anyone in the comments section, has Brandon Bean mentioned anything about being done for the night in the press conference?
Yeah, nothing here from what I've seen reported.
Yeah, it's not Swim says Hairston might suck. We don't know. I thought Hairston was I liked what I saw from Hairston at the end of the season before he obviously got hurt again. To me, I just think that's going to be the long-term question with him, right? Is can he stay on the field, because he's not the biggest guy. He's obviously got this, great athletic ability, but will he be able to stay on the field? And maybe that's also part of this equation is like they love what they have in Hairston and they love the ceiling they have with Hairston, but I don't know if they are going to be able to trust him to stay on the field for 17 years.
Injured twice last year.
Yeah.
Christian Benford missed some
But
time.
I liked him. I liked him. So yeah, that's true. That's true. So yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see, right? I mean, it's seeming like they probably won't be picking again tonight, but they will have the first pick tomorrow. And it's always nice to have the first pick in the round of, after the overnight, right? Because you have a lot more time to kind of reset things, take phone calls. Like it's not as hectic. You're like kind of in the driver's seat. So I'm sure Brandon Beane is loving that aspect of having that first pick there. And now I'm just
Dolphins are on the clock.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the Dolphins do here.
ESPN is currently in a commercial. Free agency, I've seen people mention DJ Reader. DJ Reader's made a couple of visits, none to Buffalo that I'm aware of. He's met with a couple of teams. The Dolphins select Caleb Douglas, so they are just going off the rails, taking a wide receiver I didn't even put on my Bills specific draft board out of Texas Tech. That's nice. That's a head scratcher for me. I think it's a little rich for Caleb Douglas. Got a pretty good frame, pretty decent athlete. But I really wasn't sold on Caleb Douglas as more than like a late day 3 guy, and the Dolphins just took him here in the middle of the 3rd round. So that's interesting pick for them. Yeah. So don't worry about etching anything off my Bills specific draft board here. Looking at my board of guys I thought were in play at 35 and 62 or 35 and 66 at the time is what I thought it was. So guys that I think are like legitimate day 2 prospects that are still on the board. Chris Brazzell, Chris Bell, Skylar Bell, Emmanuel Pregna, Kyle Lewis, Grayson Holton, Caleb Proctor, Jayshawn Barham, AJ Halsey, Keontae Scott, and Jalen Kilgore. Guys I thought were borderline that are still on the board: Brennan Thompson, Jennings Dunker, Brian Parker. Those are guards, by the way. I don't know for those of you who may be not familiar. Big Citrus, the nose tackle. Danny Des Sutton, the edge, who we're probably not going to take now. Caleb Elam's Orr and Jimmy Rolder are still on the board. I had Rolder as more of an early day 3 guy. Malik Muhammad, but we just took Ibinison and Zaki Watley, the safety. So guys the Bills have confirmed met with that could be in play with our next pick: Chris Bell, Skylar Bell, Grayson Halton, Keontae Scott, AJ Halsey, Jalen Kilgore, Caleb Elam's Orr, Jimmy Rolder, Kamari Ramsey, Dominique Orange, Brennan Thompson. Those are about the Austin Barber, the tackle. Because you got to think maybe George Gums is off the radar now that we took an edge. Julian Neal is probably off the board now that we took a corner. So, yeah. I mean, there are options as we roll through this draft. Ted Hurst is still available. I had an early day 3 grade on Ted Hurst. So I don't have Ted Hurst going yet, but
yeah, and a linebacker I think we both like, but probably don't see as a fit. Torian York still out there as well.
Yeah, I didn't put him on my Bill specific board at all.
He's not really. Probably.
I didn't even like. I like Justin Jefferson too. I didn't put him on my Bill specific board. Hey, our boy Owen Heineke got his college.
Oh, did he win his lawsuit?
Yeah, he's not in the draft anymore.
Right.
Yeah, going back to Oklahoma.
Nice.
Steelers are on the clock currently. They took Jeremy Bernard with their last pick, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see who they go with. Is the pick going to get in on TV before Dane gets here? It might. Nope. Yeah. Ooh, we got a quarterback to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Drew Aller.
Oh, wow.
Dude, if you're a Steelers fan, you're also in dude, you have DK Metcalf, you have Michael Pittman, you tried to add and almost added Mekhi Lemon, But now you've had Jeremy Bernard,
you
you've
got
got Calvin
you got
Austin,
really sniped
you've
Chris
got Pat
McCauley.
Fryermuth. Like you have all these weapons, and unless you can lure Aaron Rodgers back, you have Will Howard, Mason Rudolph, and Drew Aller. Bro,
That's rough. That is really rough with Mike McCarthy at home too.
You know, Brandon, we might have our issues with Brandon Beam, but he's no. Oh gosh, who's the GM of the Steelers? Shad Khan? No, that's the owner of the Jags. Omar Khan. He's no Omar Khan, at least.
Yeah,
Buccaneers on the clock. They've been having a heck of a draft.
Oh, they've been killing it. I love what the Buccaneers have done. I think they've only had 2 picks so far, but
they're off the clock. The Packers have traded up.
Oh, okay.
I can see the Packers going Jayshon Barham.
Yeah. I like
watch the Packers take another receiver. People would lose their freaking mind.
Did you see that contract they gave?
But they just traded Dontavian Wicks. But yeah, someone commented, because Jaden Reed was my guy in that draft a couple of years ago. Somebody commented, and Skylar Bell's got some of that vibe to his game. Somebody commented, it was like a quote tweet of the contract extension. So it said, maybe will he play now?
Oh my gosh. I know. Bruce Nolan said that, I think, right?
Was that Bruce? It was someone.
Yeah,
I think
Bruce has been a Jaden Reed guy for a long time. And so I think he's a little salty. Probably has him on some like dynasty teams and stuff.
Well, I traded him to Bruce in a dynasty league, and it was very hard for me to do it. But like, I can't even remember what the trade was. I got someone that I'm happy with on my team, I'm sure, but he got Jalen Reed from me. We got a super chat coming in from Brad at Guitar. I thought they had got a lot from Hairston, considering he effectively had no off season and played as soon as the practice window opened. Unless Benison moves to safety, I don't know, especially moving up 4 picks. He's not moving to safety. Brandon Bean had his press conference. He is corner depth. He's a press man corner that apparently they don't have in the room. The Bills are probably going to try to play a little bit more press man. So he's a guy who can come in situationally when they need that press man. He's a guy who can fill him when guys are injured. He's a guy where you can look at Maxwell Hairston and say, nothing's guaranteed. You got to go out there and earn it, kid. That is essentially what Igbenison is, and we used our second pick of the draft and a second rounder and traded up for it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't disagree. I don't agree with the philosophy, but it is what it is. Like, I don't hate either of these players. Like, that's the tough thing too. Mm-hmm. I don't dislike either of these players in the vacuum. I don't understand. You mentioned the word earlier, vision. I don't see the vision. I don't. Like, you drafted an edge who is very, very similar to the 2 edges you already have. So when's he coming onto the field to give the other 2 guys a breather? And then you drafted a corner. Again, you have 2 starting corners. When's he coming on the field? When one of those guys pulls a hamstring? There had to have been guys within the margin of error. I understand the best player available philosophy, but I don't think Brandon Bean can sit there with a straight face and try to tell the people in the room and tell fans that they did not have any other players closely graded at positions where they could probably get on the field and make an earlier impact.
Mm-hmm. I 100% agree. Packers take Chris McClellan.
TJ Parker was my 34th ranked Bills specific player. Davison Abigison was 48th. And there are still players that I had ranked above TJ Parker still on the board. Chris Bell, AJ Halsey, Chris Brazel, Emmanuel Pregnon, Kyle Lewis.
So Packers take Chris McClellan, and now the Colts are up.
Yeah, Chris McClellan off the board. I had Chris McClellan. Matthew McNutt comes in here and says, you guys act like you've never watched football before. There are injuries. Of course there is. Of course there is. But like, Terrell Bernard is injured a lot, and our third string linebacker is Joe Andreessen, Keonta Jenkins, and Jimmy Charlo. You're telling me there wasn't a linebacker out? You're telling me Caleb Elam Zor wasn't within the margin of error of Davison Abinison, or Jimmy Roller wasn't within the margin of error? Like, what if Chauncey Gardner-Johnson or Cole Bishop gets hurt? DeMar Hamlin and Geno Stone are playing. What if Ed Oliver gets hurt, and Ed Oliver gets hurt a dang lot? What if Deion Walker, who's had back issues, What if he gets hurt? You can make the same argument at these other positions too.
Yeah.
Like at some point, you got to make sure your starters are set and then worry about your backups, right?
I mean, I would think.
Alec Anderson's our starting left guard right now. Has he proven anything in his career other than he can chug beers and be the sixth guy on the offensive line? Like, I like him. I think he has upside. I think he can plug and play. I have high hopes, but we're just going to let him go unchallenged. I obviously added Austin Corbett, but it's interesting selection so far. But Chris McClellan, I had Chris McClellan. So that's another nose tackle off the board. I had him in the 125, 126 bucket. So we're close in range here. It's all relative. And I had him as my 67th overall player. But another nose tackle off the board. But Big Citrus is still there. Daryl Jackson Jr. is still there. And someone says Austin Corbett's the guy. Yeah, maybe Austin Corbett's the new David Edwards, and he comes in and starts and then gets an extension and then gets another and then go sign somewhere else for a ton of money. Like maybe he's the next David Edwards. So yeah. That should be interesting. Colts are up. And the Colts select AJ Halsey.
Wow. I like what the Colts have done also in this draft.
So AJ Halsey is off the board. AJ Halsey was my 25th overall player. I had AJ Halsey on my board over TJ Parker and Davison.
Same.
So interesting. Falcons are up. I like what the Falcons have done so far.
Yep. I like what the Falcons have done. I like what the Colts have done. I'm going to take a quick look at the old round board here. Let's see. Take a look at the Colts. CJ Allen and AJ Halsey. Like that for them without a first round pick. And after trading for Sauce Gardner, I think that's a pretty nice haul for them to not have a first round pick. Two guys on that defense. Man. Texans, Kalen Rutledge and Caden McDonald. That's pretty nice.
Grayson
like
Hall seems like a Falcons type pick. Actually, they need a receiver, dude. They're gonna snag Skylar Bell here, aren't they?
Falcons have picked so far Avion Terrell, and that's been their only pick.
They need a wideout. I wonder if they go the Skylar Bell route, the Bryce Lance route, Zachariah Branch or Deion Burks route. Zachariah Branch to the Falcons.
That makes sense. I could see that.
Georgia guy. We had this conversation earlier. Shorter arms, gadget type. Do they have ceiling to be more? Yes, but there's such athletic limitations to guys like Zachariah Branch and Deion Burks because of their size. I had him as a 5th rounder. That's like when I would have taken him. I thought 4th round would have been acceptable, but he goes here mid to late 3rd. I had Zachariah
middle
third. I had him 83rd on my Bills specific big board.
Yeah, we are at pick. Colts, Falcons. So now we are on the Ravens, who are pick 80. So we have 20 picks left tonight.
And did we get an answer from Brandon Bean about whether the Bills are done or not?
I don't think anyone said anything in the comments, but I didn't see any. I didn't see anything.
Sales thread to see if he's added anything. Said TJ Parker will stand up outside linebacker edge in Bill's new defense. Mentioned a comp as far as position to Bradley Chubb. So again, they drafted a younger guy that I think is similar to Bradley Chubb. On how they look at wide receiver, especially with the addition of DJ Moore. There's depth there, but we feel like we selected DJ in the 2nd round. Knew that one was coming. It's not lip service. We are excited about Keon. TJ Parker has a 3-down skill set. That was 49 seconds ago from Sale. I think Sale might have got
Tydoon says, good question from John Scott on taking corner versus player with a clearer starting path. Bills GM Brandon Bean notes that if you got a liability on the field, the opposing quarterback sees a bullseye, especially the elite ones. A gentle nod back to each of Buffalo's last 2 playoff losses. In 24, Mahomes went after Kyrie Elam when Benford was out. In 25, Peyton New and Darnell Savage and Dane Jackson were on the field and attacked, cost Buffalo each game.
We said he would mention that one. So
yeah, that was on the bingo board for sure.
Mm-hmm. Lance Lysowski of the Buffalo News. I really like Lance. He's really good at what he does. But he's Brandon Bean attended Ohio State's Pro Day, which I mentioned at the top of the draft. I literally, when I made my Bill specific big board, one of my color codings was Bean at Pro Day. And it was really easy to color code because according to Dean Kindig, and I have not found any evidence on the contrary, the only Pro Day that Bean attended that was not a non-local Pro Day was Ohio State's. So it was really easy. All the Ohio State players, I just gave a special color code to. So Lance Lysowski says Brandon Bean attended Ohio State's Pro Day, and the reports about Davison Igbinison were glowing. Bills like what they saw from Igbinison in 2025, showed growth, played top competition, experienced 43 games played. This is a depth player who will come in and compete.
Okay.
Again,
I mean, that's great.
Again, like these are good players. Like we are not knocking the players. We are just questioning like what is going on with the roster construction. What is the vision? Were there really players at other positions that might have gotten on the field before an injury that were within the margin of you really going to sit there and tell us there weren't guys who could have gotten on the field sooner within, the margin of error of these guys that you selected. also want to note, we hope we're wrong and we're all take exposed because we're Bills fans at the end of the day. So,
Ravens take Jacoby Lane.
Yeah, I know you like Jacoby Lane.
I like Jacoby Lane. Yeah, I like.
He reminded me a little bit of Brendan Rice. Like I just think he's boundary only. I just think very stiff, but man, the guy's got mitts. Like he can.
Yeah, and for the Ravens, right, with Zay Flowers kind of roaming generally all over the middle of the field. I mean, I think it's a nice fit for them.
I had 6th round on Jacoby. I had 6th round on Jacoby Lane.
I had him as my 90th overall prospect.
On my Bills specific big board, I had Jacoby Lane 107.
Okay. So you probably realistically had him, what was that? Like probably in the close to 175.
175.
Yeah, something like that. Jags up on the clock.
They're interesting. They're interesting what they do. James Gladstone marches by the beat of the Rams drum.
Yeah, which I don't hate. Let's see. The Jags. Interesting team. Let's see. Jags so far have just drafted the tight end Nick Borkacher. Did I say his name right? Borkacher from Texas A&M. Not sure if I'm saying his name right. Probably the first time and only time I'll ever say his name.
I didn't do work on tight ends. I think he's a blocking tight end. One of the better ones, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see what it says about him. Jacksonville. We've got these ESPN's 13th overall tight end. Production as a receiver limited. Making some time.
I think I heard some people saying he was like the Jackson Hawes of this year's draft.
Struggles to move defenders. Borkacher is effective on the move as a lead blocker. I mean, I don't know. It's the pre-draft analysis doesn't really highlight his run blocking ability, but I guess that probably is true. 6'4", 245. Pretty good size.
Jermon McCoy is still on the board.
Yeah, I know. That's weird, right? Let's see. Jags up here, then the Panthers, it looks like.
Someone said, "Who will the Jags?" Draft Diamonds just said, "Who will the Jags take this time?" Because they people were quite surprised by that where they selected Bulsinger there.
Oh boy, yeah, man. Okay, so Jags picking, which means we will then be on the Vikings. Sorry, Vikings, then Panthers. I thought it was Panthers next, but it's Vikings, then Panthers. Let's see. Wow, Vikings still have 3 picks left in this round. The Jags actually have another pick coming up at pick 88. So they have pick 81 and pick 88. Dolphins have 2 picks as well coming up, 87 and 94. So we've got a bunch of teams here with multiple picks because we start to see the comp picks come in here. Actually, the Jags have 3 picks left this round. They have 81, 88, and then they also have the very last pick of the round at pick 100. So Jags could be interesting to see what they do here the next hour or so. I mean, as this comment here, 44 Murdoch, being really going to use Deion Walker as a nose tackle. I mean, that's what it looks like at this point, right? I think that's what we need to pronounce the Yags. Yeah, I like that, MK. I mean, that's what it looks like, right? At this point. I mean, unless someone like Big Citrus falls into your lap somehow in the first pick of the 4th round, like, I don't think you're going to get a nose tackle that's going to come in and be your 2-down nose tackle starter right from day one. Like, it could have been Caden McDonald. We didn't draft them, right? So it certainly feels to me like it will be Deion Walker. Deion Walker, probably. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to think there's no one else really on the team right now that can do it. And we still have some people coming in, Titus. How did we not take CJ Allen 3? Yeah, I mean, Colts got CJ Allen. Jaguars, love it. Charles G said, Charles G, another one who's been in the comments section with us for a long time. Leonard has to be on board with these picks. I mean, you would think that with a new scheme that there's got to be conversations about the types of guys, but these seem like
Albert Regis.
What do we got?
The undersized run stuff in nose tackle from Texas A&M. So Albert Regis, that's an analytics pick right there. If I've ever seen one for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah. So Albert Regis, good player. I am my 167, 168 bucket. He was my, let's see.
Talked about him a little bit in the process.
He was my 90th player on my Buffalo Bills specific big board. Coming off quick here.
Vikings, Panthers.
Apparently, Davison Igbenison was a Bills top 30 visit. It was just not reported. Jordan Hancock raved about him after playing with him at Ohio State. So, hey, Brandon Beane's got someone to throw under the bus. Jordan Hancock told me to do it.
Like, I'm only picking guys if I have an alibi to throw them under the bus.
Listen, guys, like, Jordan Hancock told me this is a sure thing.
Yes, and we all know that's gotta mean something. Oh man. Yeah. It is a little bit of a bummer that we are not likely to see another pick for the Bills tonight, but what are we gonna do? I mean, that's just how it goes.
Bruce
Nolan. Man, Colin Ritchie, by the way, to everyone watching tonight. So we were originally going to go live tomorrow. Colin Ritchie, who produces for Cover One Buffalo and has been on like guest on their show, was part of our salary cap extravaganza show. He will be hosting the start of the coverage tomorrow at 12. We were originally going to go on at 1:30, but then obviously the Bills made the trades and ended up with the first pick of day 3. So it's seeming that that's going to stick. We will be going live. Colin will be going live right at noon, in time for the Bills to make that pick tomorrow. And he's going to have his hands full tomorrow with all of those picks in the 4th round. He will not be alone. He's going to have Matt Perino on at some point. Colin will, and he's also going to have Carl Jones on from News 4 Buffalo. So
News 4 Buffalo. There we
go. So both Matt Perino and Carl Jones will be joining Colin throughout the afternoon tomorrow, which will be actually like the first hour tomorrow is going to be really kind of big for the Bills, right? Mm-hmm. Because they have 3 picks in the 4th round. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe, let me just do a quick check on this. Time per pick in the 4th round is 5 minutes. So same as the 3rd. So it'll be about this pace tomorrow for the picks. And yeah, so that first hour and a half tomorrow is going to be pretty exciting, because hopefully we'll start to really see how this draft takes shape for the Bills. And things will get going right away, right, with Colin. So tune in tomorrow. Colin has been really putting in a lot of work. I can't say enough about sort of he this is a compliment to Colin. So if he's watching or will watch, he gives me Kendall vibes, Kendall Mursky. He's very Kendall-like in his approach, which is a good thing. For those of you who remember, Kendall was our producer for a while here on the Air Raid Hour and went on to bigger and better things, obviously much smarter than us. But Colin deserves this chance.
No question about it.
To host tomorrow and getting a chance to host
under the Air Raid Hour. Is a Minnesota Viking.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And
wait, so the Vikings have taken Jake Golday and Dominic Orange. I would trade our draft for their draft. I know they took Caleb Banks. So saying that they took Jake Golday after we took TJ Parker, they took Dominic Orange well after we took Davison Abinison. If you said to me you can swap these picks, I would do it in a heartbeat. The Vikings don't even have a general manager.
Is Kevin O'Connell making the picks?
They fired their general manager for taking paternity leave. They don't even have a general manager.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The Darnold.
Yeah, general incompetence and taking paternity leave.
Yes, like just let's not gloss over that, right? So Caleb Banks and Big Citrus, they are really trying to.
What's it like to have big guys along your defensive line?
I mean, hey, that's what I said yesterday. They got Josh Jacobs to contend with. They got Jahmyr Gibbs to contend with. They got DeAndre Swift to contend with.
We took in that division, saw how well that worked out for us, and didn't think let's do that again.
Yeah, I mean, don't know, but Big Citrus, the Big Citrus dream. Much like it was the Tavondre Sweat dream, much like it was the Alfred Collins dream, much like it was the Kairos Tonga dream. Like we've had these dreams draft after draft.
And these players have been good for NFL teams. So it's not even like
Chris Brazzell goes to the Panthers. So that's interesting.
Yeah, Brian Flores getting his guys here. So interesting stuff. Yeah. Chris Brazzell going to the Panthers.
Yeah.
So the top receiver I had left on the board is gone. He was my 26th ranked player. So my top wide receivers left on the board: Chris Bell, Skylar Bell, Brennan Thompson, Bryce Lance, Malik Benson, Deion Burks. Excuse me, I forgot Ted Hurst. Chris Bell, Skylar Bell, Brennan Thompson, Bryce Lance, Ted Hurst, Malik Benson, Deion Burks. Pregnon still on the board. Kyle Lewis still on the board. For Pregnon, I got to assume it is the medicals.
I got to do a quick search on Pregnon.
Just do it like a Twitter search and see what the hell's going on there. That's a guy that EJ Snyder was talking up to the Bills at 26. Gerard McCoy still on the board. Obviously, that is a medical thing for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so.
I'm not seeing really anything on
Yeah.
Pregnon. Let's see if I can find anything. Let's see.
Are you Googling or are you Twittering?
No, I'm Twittering. We got Raz. Let's see what the latest says. Latest. Still on the board. What's the deal with Emmanuel Pregnon? Emmanuel Pregnon, Jennings Dunker still on the board. How the fuck is Emmanuel Pregnon still available? Yeah, I mean, I'm really not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not seeing anything. Honestly, I don't know. Kyle Lewis still on the board.
Yeah. Interesting.
I mean, at this point, I would take Pregnon or Dunker. Like, just give me somebody good. Give me somebody good.
Yeah, I mean, going by my big board here, here's who I think are the best players left in the draft. Manuel Pregnon, Chris Bell, Skylar Bell, Grayson Halton, Caleb Proctor, Jay-Sean Barham, Keontae Scott, Jalen Kilgore, Zaki Weekly, Malik Muhammad, Caleb Williams-Orr, Danny Dennis Sutton. Did Danny Dennis Sutton go? He might have gone, and I missed it.
He hasn't. And I don't think
Jennings Dunker, Brian Parker, Brennan Thompson.
Yeah.
I think those are the best players left in this draft. And this is just at Bill's specific positions of need. I don't have some other positions on my board.
Did Deontay Lawson hasn't been picked, right?
No, I have him. I have him in the Keyshawn Elliott bucket.
Yeah. Okay. Like fair enough.
5th round, but if they did it in the 4th round, it wouldn't shock me.
Yep. Right about
so,
that.
Interesting comment here, right? Crazy how this time last night, you guys and all Bills fans were so hyped for tonight. Air has been allowed to the balloon, 100%, right? Like, so
I mean, that's fair.
There was always a caveat to what we were saying last night, and that was you go and you draft good players. I shouldn't even say good players, because I think the 2 guys we drafted are good players. I don't want to dismiss these players in any way, shape, or form, but like it just seemed like the obvious picks the Bills chose not to go with, and that's disappointing. I think Brandon Beane did his job yesterday, and then he didn't do his job very well today.
I agree with that, and I mean, like, look. We are not the only ones too that like think this way. Like, yes, when we're sitting here talking about it, like go back and scan social media from the beat guys, from national people, from fans, like for the 7 to 10 to 12 hours today before the draft, you would have seen probably the same 6 to 8 names on everyone's wish list that they wanted the Bills to take at pick 35. And then even some of the same names at 60, whatever, 60, 68 or 66 or wherever we were picking originally. Right. And so it's not just us, right? Like a lot of people felt that way. And I don't know. I think sometimes we see like the obvious fits and for who's there, and like everyone kind of gets on board, and it's just like Brandon Beane zags when we, zigs when we all zag. Like I don't know. So I appreciate this, Schlegs, and like, I know we're the ones talking here, but he says, or she, I don't know what. You guys are definitely not the only Bills fans complaining about everything, that's for sure. And that makes me feel a little bit better. So there you go. We are not the only ones complaining.
105, 145, and 206 for 86. They're going to take another wide receiver.
Browns have been moving around the board a bit.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, unfortunate injuries for him. It wouldn't shock me if they went with Kyle Lewis.
Oh, looks like Ted Hurst went to the Bucks.
Yeah, what is going on here? I think, dude, Dame, you're killing me. I've been following Dame, and he did not.
Maybe he's mad.
He's mad about the Bills picks too. So the Bucks got Ted Hurst,
and then the Browns looks like they just traded up.
Bucks love adding wide receivers, like flat out. Like they just love. And then Pittsburgh's pick is hasn't gotten in yet either.
Yeah, where's Pittsburgh? I don't see Pittsburgh's either. I'm gonna have to switch off Dame, I think. I'm gonna
have to go to the television. The television got Ted Hurst. So Ted Hurst off the board. I had him as my first, second, third, fourth. He was my fifth best wide receiver left after Chris Bell, Skylar Bell, Brennan Thompson, and Bryce Lance. That's a guy. You talk about verticality. Ted Hurst, small school, but verticality, pretty good at the catch point. In the opportunities he had at the catch point as well. You can see his highlights here if you are watching on ESPN. Small school, lower level of competition, but he impressed at the Senior Bowl and had a lot of traits that Bills fans are probably looking for at the wide receiver position. So he's off the board. The Buccaneers just keep every year they're drafting wide receivers. They are never content with the position the way the Buffalo Bills are content with the position.
Browns, Austin Barber for the Browns.
That's the guy the Bills had a top 30 with, a guy the Bills really liked. I had him at the top of my round 4 board. So right around here makes sense for Austin Barber. And he was the 54th player on my Bills specific big board. 54th.
Yeah, he's got a nice profile. 6'6", 318.
Dude, the Bucks drafted Reuben Bain, Josiah Trotter, Ted Hurst.
Yeah, Bucks are doing it.
Oh,
they're doing a nice job. They're doing a nice job with this draft. So did the Steelers not? Who did the Steelers pick?
Pick is in for the Steelers, and it's going in on TV. I think Dame fell asleep, man.
I mean, I don't see Ari doesn't have the Steelers pick either up, so I don't know who the Steelers picked.
Yeah, the Steelers are a mystery. I think I take another quarterback, just throw everything at the wall like the Browns did last year.
I'm not seeing anything on.
So we get to find out on TV from Josh Allen's best friend, Cam Hayward.
And then so then after the Steelers, then the Browns, and so the Dolphins are the next team to pick. Then
my TV
Dalen Everett
went to the Steelers.
Dalen Everett, yeah.
Okay, because my TV just froze. So
yep,
I got no idea.
A corner from Georgia, 6'1", 196. Actually, he was consensus rated pretty highly, 9.82 RAS, good size.
I had him 2 after Igbenison. I had him in the next bucket of corners after Julian Neal.
4.3840, very nice.
Yeah, he was my 70th ranked player.
So nice.
So my TV's out. I'm out. No, my TV's back now with the Dalen Everett pick.
Seems like a nice pick for the Steelers right there. I kind of can dig that. So then the Browns, obviously, what's that?
Dolphins are on the clock now.
Yeah, Dolphins should be up now. Yep, that's right.
All right. How many picks are left here in the third round?
The Dolphins are pick 87. So after this, we've got 13 to go. Probably looking around another, my guess would be 45 minutes or so.
The Chris Bell slippage is interesting.
Yeah. Well, is it? Because obviously he's coming off the ACL. People maybe maybe some of these teams have the same thought you do, right? Like maybe he's not the polished guy. I still would take a chance. You know, the Bills have those 3 4th rounders. Like if he's sitting there, I don't know that I would take him. I mean, I might take him with the first pick in the 4th round if he's there. Skylar Bell, if he's there, the first pick in the 4th round, that'd be pretty tempting for me. So let's see what we got here. Dolphins. Any word on the Dolphins? Oh, Draft Diamond said he realized he skipped the Steelers and that he's sorry.
So no pick for Miami yet? Say hi.
Maybe you're gonna get some people. You're gonna win some people back now.
Yeah, I'm using my child as a human shield here from all the criticism.
Exploitation. Yeah, good job.
He's got a little Bill shirt on.
I like that. It's looking good. I like that shirt. I need to get my daughter that same one, I think.
She got a Packers one?
She's got more Bills stuff than Packers, I will say.
That's good.
Yeah. And also Ashley, everyone that's followed us for a long time knows my wife's a Packers fan, but she really did not like Aaron Rodgers. So she was happy when he left. Mm-hmm. But she will tell you now that she is Bills first over Packers, which is crazy. And because her family is like diehard Packers, but she's got, I mean, we went to that Panthers game. She was wearing her Josh Allen shirt. I mean, she is a big Josh Allen gal. So Yeah, I think she's Bill's first now.
I'm gonna step out real quick, say goodnight to my daughter, and I'll be right back.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead. And for those in the chat, Judge is human, as you can see. He has a human side to him. So, yeah, exactly. How are you supposed to rage on the Bills with her? Well, you can now. You can rage to me, guys. All of you in the chat. It's okay. It's fine. Look, it's been an emotional night, right? It's been tough. Not gonna lie. For those of you who watch Judge and I regularly, we're pretty objective about things, right? We're fans, obviously, so we want the team to do well. We want to pick the guys that we like. Obviously, it happens every year where it doesn't happen, but at the end of the day, we are trying to be objective, and we're trying to also react in the moment to how things happen. And as Matt, this is a great comment too. It's like being access to these coaches and players are holding him at gunpoint to make these picks. He's the GM, right? Yeah, and it is strange, right? That it's a lot of, it's a lot of like CYA type of commentary in a way. It feels like so. It is so weird. I agree with you, Matthew De Silva. It is strange. He is the GM. He is the guy that, if you think about the draft process, right, this year, like he is the guy that is in the same. He's the only guy that's in the same seat from a year ago, right? Like Joe Brady wasn't in the same seat he's in. Jim Leonard wasn't even in the building. Brandon Beane's the only guy that's in the same seat from a year ago, and he's been in that seat for what, 8-9 years?
Yeah.
So
Pregnon to the Jags.
All right, good pick, Jags.
And that was the top player left on my board. He was in the top 10 of my Bills specific board. I take it back. He was not in the top 10. He was 14. I was thinking of McNeil Warren, who got taken a little earlier. So, yeah, I mean, the names are dwindling here as the Bills pick at the top of round 4.
And the Dolphins before that picked Will Merrick.
Anytime a tight end is picked, I'm a happy guy. I'm waiting for Justin Jolly to come off the board because the Bills did have a top 30 with him. The rumor was it was to get intel on Casey Concepcion, who was his team at NC State. But, like, man, if the Bills took a tight end with their next pick.
the fans people might riot. So the Jags,
what would the reaction be if the Bills took Justin Jolly with their next pick?
I mean, I think we'd probably just end the although we're not doing.
We're just gonna end the stream early.
It's like suddenly Matt Perino and Carl Jones have canceled.
12:05. Boop.
Yeah, I know. So, gosh, I'm gonna ask. Are
our time might be up.
Here, okay, our time might be up. We're gonna let. And Greg, you know what? I'm glad you are going to get ready to swear and vent because we've been getting it from. He
looks angry. He looks visibly upset. I think he just put some chew in his mouth.
Maybe it was the Zin. Maybe it was the Zin.
I think he just put a Zin in his mouth. You guys can't see this.
I'm not happy. I'll tell you that.
No. Okay, good. That makes me feel better because
my wife just yelled at me because I said "mother effer" when Dominique Orange got picked, and yeah. So, I'm gonna go back with Anthony for a second here. You guys wrap up, and then I'll go swear and vent.
Yeah, absolutely, no problem.
All right.
Great job tonight.
Thanks, Greg.
I'm sorry you guys had to process that live, but I'll talk to you guys in a little bit.
Oh yeah, we paid for it. That's okay. We paid for it.
Yeah, we're good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for us. Stay tuned here though to cover 1, and you're gonna get to hear fresh perspectives from Greg and Anthony, of course, and they've had some time to you need a different voice in your ears right now, I think. But they are ready to vent as well. And as always, guys, like if you're looking to support the show, if you're still willing to watch us after all this, we are live every Monday night at 9 p.m. Smash that like, leave a comment, click the share button, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. We really appreciate you. You guys make the show what it is. Pleasure as always to cover the draft. I'll be coaching basketball tomorrow, so I'll be trying to shoot off some tweets half cocked in between some of the games that I have to coach tomorrow as the draft progresses into day 3. The Bills have a lot of ammo in day 3, ammo that I didn't expect them to have. Wish I would have like gotten someone to cover for me or gotten the day off tomorrow so I could enjoy it a little bit more. But I'll have it recorded, and I'll be following along on my phone, and hopefully you guys will be watching Colin do his thing. So
yeah,
Dave, any final thoughts before we get out of here tonight?
Yeah, don't not watch Colin just because you don't like us. Look, at the end of the day, we put a lot of effort into this. We do a lot of research. We put a lot of effort into these couple days, and we do appreciate you all. Like the good, the bad, like everything. All the comments are good. It helps us with the conversation. So I do appreciate each and every one of you who are in the comment section tuning in, because you can watch any number of things, listen to any number of things. So whether or not you agree with us or have different opinion does not matter to me. I appreciate you all. And please tune in to Colin tomorrow at 12, right when the Bills kick off the 4th round with the very first pick. And of course, tune in to Greg and Anthony, who are about to come on.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. And as always, go Bills.
Go Bills.
Thank you for watching tonight's episode of the Air Raid Hour. Make sure to hit that like button on the way out. If you are catching the show on demand, leave a reply in the comment section and we will respond over the course of the week. You can always listen to every episode next day on all major podcasting platforms, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, by searching Air Raid Buffalo. Thank you for your continued support, and as always, go Bills!